Okay, close out of that. Yeah. Yeah, you are live.
It's recording.
Oh, there we go. So I guess okay.
Good thing there's editing.
All right. So I'm gonna go get you guys some paper and pens.
We're set.
Oh, but I have more.
Okay.
What I need to know right now is who are the singers.
Not me.
Depends on what we're gonna sing. Okay. And this is going on YouTube.
So I made it's a surprise. Nobody even knows. And I'm not a singer. But okay, so yeah, as I was starting to say, first of all, if you're on YouTube, whatever, is a live in person thing, there'll probably be all sorts of mess ups, but we're gonna go edit it and turn it into the information later. So whatever. And nobody's watching the comments or anything like that. This is just for preservation. Okay. So when I started this, when you came in the kitchen and you're like, oh, so that's something we should stock. And this is something. And yes, the answer to all of that was yes. And I started it with a list of kitchen item must have so that you can take care of yourself, right? Because the main component of a healthy life or a healthy body is self-responsibility. So not being reactive, knowing ahead of time what you need for your family, right? Life happens. There's power outages. I don't know about y'all, but I know her and I live in the country. You don't just run out to the store for a Tylenol. And by the way, if you're eating Tylenol, you need to read my website. So I'm just going to try to express where I'm coming from. I believe in 0 pills ever. I don't care what anybody else believes. I'm not going to try to make you like me. We're here because you have questions about a couple certain conditions. But I'm telling you from my perspective that I learned the hard way. 35 years of sickness. I couldn't talk and walk. Multiple diagnoses, whatever. It's on the website. It's documented. It's not fun. But I am super thankful because I know what I know now. Not because I started buying medical encyclopedias at 16 years old, but because I lived it. So the good news is that anybody can heal themselves from anything, but getting back to the self-responsibility factor, there is no miracle pill, there is no miracle herb, miracle cure, miracle anything. Technically there is, but that's spiritual and I'm not going to get into that. I don't know any, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So yes, there are miracles. I live miracles every day, but it's nothing from outside of you, right? There's no pill. There's some that work wonders and have done some crazy things like grow my fingertip back or give me my, what's that called? When I lost my taste in 12 hours by taking one herb. And my autoimmune, dissolving the cysts in my spine, healing my herniated discs, seizures, strokes. So there are miracles, but truth is, you will not heal if you do anything a doctor tells you. And you know what? You can prove that yourself next time you go to the doctor and they say, oh, you have this. Well, what would you do, doc? Would you take this pill? What are the studies? And part of being self-responsible is if they don't tell you and you don't know, go home and research it. We have AI, computer, freaking whatever on our phones these days. They're information is accessible all the time. Now that's not to say that the first thing or even the first page of things that you see are the truth, right? But the self-responsibility, cross-reference, look, this study, who were they funded by? Where did this come from? So my approach is we're just going to use this word. It has no connotation, but real God. And which means no, I don't use pharmakia for any reason. God gave us, and whatever your version of God, cool. It's beautiful. It's clearly there's something more intelligent than us. And the more we learn about our own bodies, if you don't agree with some form of intelligent design, I don't care what you call it, that's cool. But it's facts. And so Amber wanted to talk about, she brought up detox, right? And then I'm like, well, it's cold and flu season too, and everybody's sick but me. So maybe we should talk about that too, or should it be 2 classes? And then I'm like, you know what, never mind, it's the same thing. I don't know if that sounded crazy to you at the time, but I made some information sheets yesterday. And then I found some more on my computer that I use for other talks that I just printed to include because it has different information. Because the information yesterday, again, getting back to the list of the kitchen must-haves, that's how it started. But it went a different way. And I always trust Spirit, God, to guide me. And so I wrote what I wrote. I didn't even proofread it. And I know that it's exactly what we need to hear. So I'm going to go grab those. Oh, and the song.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yes,
You're our
I
one
am.
singer, I think.
Do you sing, Mary?
At home.
All right.
I was like, depends on where. It's painful. In the
So there's the first 6 pages. I don't have a stapler or I don't know how to use it.
One of the two.
Or maybe both. I don't know. I don't even remember. And I put in all. Oh, I wrote on the top one. Who'd I give the top one to? Because I actually forgot to include a couple things when I talked about healthy diet. I think it's, I wrote that there. So let me trade you because, I can't believe I forgot to add that.
It's all right.
Christy, do you want to sit right here and I'll prop it up right here and I'll sit over there?
No, because I'll be there in a minute after I get you all your paper.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. All right. So the
This is like an emotional
supplementals.
support. I don't know. You could just like turn it over and scrub the floor with it so you can mop. Aww. And nicely, it'd be like a
I was about to say, you're talking about the dog?
Oh, you got an angel.
Bathe the dog and it's what's
Okay.
This one's name.
So this was from another talk. I'm just giving it to you so you have extra supplemental whatever stuff. And which is kind of cool. When I looked at them, I'm like, oh, those were some of the herbs that I crossed off the list that I did yesterday. So I want, there's
Mine's
just way
must be in
too
color.
much.
Are they all in color? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's
sure I
just
didn't have
way
yours.
too much to include. All right.
You won't. These ones are weeds. They're probably in your yard right now.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get that
What are we talking about?
These?
Okay. So we're gonna focus on the first one I gave you today. These other ones I'm giving you are just
They're actually not
supplemental.
too
Okay.
I killed this
Here
one
you
like-
go.
Oh,
Because
but it's-
when I was saving it on the computer to print it, I'm like, oh, I have these other ones.
Yeah.
And like I said, they ended up including some of the herbs
Thank you so
that I
much.
erased
Yes.
on the one that I wrote yesterday. So it's just extra, whatever. You guys said we're gonna
I
focus
had a holy
on
basil
that.
plant in
Oh,
I don't
I
even know
bought
what
it
they
in
are.
Springfield after.
my holy basil did amazing last summer. It just like spread all
Now I
over.
feel bad that I killed mine.
Well, no, because it will be able to grow.
I'll save these.
I had it inside in a pot.
Oh, that's why. You know,
That's why.
because I did bring it in and it died
Surprise.
when I brought it in, but outside it was fine.
At my new house, I'm gonna have a greenhouse.
All right, let's see. Does this work?
Yes.
If
Cool.
you're good, we're good. Yep.
Totally. Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, you can lean it up again. Ooh, that's so
How close is this?
Nose hair time. No, it's not that bad. But if you want to see.
That's perfect.
Okay, so if you are watching YouTube, I have no idea. We're just recording this for posterity purposes, and it's probably going to come down and then be edited into a video when you don't have to watch all the nonsense or blah, blah, blah. Okay. Hi. Thanks for being here.
Well, you've already made it like totally worth our time.
Absolutely.
I think they want to.
Cool. Joby. Let me relax for one sec. Love you. Cool. So, where's the one I made yesterday? Yeah, okay. So, somehow I was able to link the detox and the flu, but without even really talking about the flu. And so, like, some of the properties on the other handouts, like I said, were from previous talks, so they'll give you further information, where the information in the 6-page one is focused on detox mainly, and a little explanation. So, when you asked about detox, my question is, what does that mean to you? And anybody, like, you know, what does it mean, and why do you ask?
I asked it because I was on Facebook and there was an ad for some detox, and there's like the zeolite type stuff. So I'm like, is this legit? And
But you feel you need to detox for some reason, or?
No, well, not really.
I've
Right
heard
now.
that Americans have so many parasites and worms, and so that I always see things getting pushed for detoxing for that regard.
And the heavy metals
Yeah.
Yes.
is the other
I've
one.
heard all of that.
So I mean, I probably do, but.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I feel like I should.
So that's why I asked. I'm like, you're the person to ask, and you're like, this is longer than a text. So I'm
and then you're like, abracadabra, here's like a class. Okay. So this has never really been a class per se. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not an educational expert. I am a person who learned the hard way by living it. And I am a first responder, so I have a little insight into, and then of course being in hospitals for 35 years. So I have my firsthand insight, and then watching everyone around me die. So, yeah, so I erased the kitchen must-haves, which of course there's plenty of space to write when we do, if we get to that, whatever. But I wanted to share some detox basics, which, so mainly usually when you're seeing these, I'm going to call them gimmicks, okay? I already suggested I'm completely against pharma pills, but I also don't know very many herbal supplements. I mean, best case scenario, the vitamins, all of that stuff, Dr. Blaylock proved like decades ago that best case scenario, we're pissing out 90% of them. Mm-hmm. They're not in a form our body can absorb them, and they're from out there, when the truth is a healthy functioning body, that intelligent design machine, creates all the chemicals and everything we need when it's in its healthy state. So from the beginning of time, and it's even biblical for those who are interested, but herb bearing seed, like we've been eating wheat and whatever, barley, and all of these things that today all of a sudden are bad, and they're giving you heart attacks and diabetes and fatty liver syndrome and blah, 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 right? And again, those blogs are on the site, ChristieAphrodite.com. Use the search bar. The thing is that food didn't change. It's what they put in it that changed. So I don't believe in any extreme anything. No extreme diet. You're going to hear the gimmicks, all that. This is the best. This is the only way. Nah. Like, if we look through history, our diets were mostly like vegetables, some grain, and meat. But it wasn't like full-on carnivore eating meat every single day, right? Sometimes you only ate meat like once a month, but you had a big buffalo and or whatever, or your goat for whatever holiday or whatever, right? And then you share it, you have a big old feast, and then fortunately, what we're going to talk about, how this all relates, is the organ that people think of when they speak the word detox is the liver, right? And so the liver literally has over 500 functions for the body. I only listed, I don't know, I can't even read this. If anyone else can't read it, there's a couple. Magnifying glass. I have no idea what I wrote, but so it doesn't matter. This is for you to take home. But some of the things the liver does is like store, convert, produce everything from hormones, metabolism, like it turns proteins into amino acids and stores them. It turns glucose into glycogen and stores them, and just, I mean, so many fats, and metabolizes them and turns them into fuel. And by the way, another reason everybody's sick all the time is because they've been pushing the low fat craze, when like 70% of our brain, the myelin sheath, the cell walls are fat. Okay. And I think the rest of our cells in the body is something like 60 or 4, I don't know, something like that percent. Low fat diets cause a lot of the symptoms that we're going to talk about, right? High carbohydrates. And there's nothing wrong essentially with carbohydrates in general, but the processed, refined kind that we're accustomed to eat. And I do too. I buy pasta. I buy rice. I'm not perfect, but I also have a liver that works properly, which means I don't have to look for a liver detox. There's no such thing. If you detox your liver, you're dead, right? Because that's its job. That's what it does all the time. Our job is to not overload it and make your food your medicine, right? And make it so there is no such thing. So even like in the kitchen, drinking the ginger lemon. If you drink that every day, there is no need to look for a detox supplement, right? If you ate the weeds in your yard, and I know I listed a buttload here, and we can totally go outside and I can show you what they are. I'm pretty sure most of them are growing right now. There's many more, but whatever, maybe another time. I just had to delete it. It was getting too long. So the liver, which is part of the parasympathetic nerve system, is responsible for a lot of the cleansing, detox, breakdowns going on in our body, our hormone regulation, thyroid regulation, etc. So if you, there's no need to detox, there's a need to cleanse it and give it the fuel that it needs, right? So most humans take better care of their cars than their bodies, right? We give our cars the right fuels, but then we're drinking soda or alcohol or white processed breads and flours and just like all the things in pretty bright packages that taste delicious at the ball games, and that's all there is, and right? So again, getting back to the staying and remaining healthy and the self-responsibility factor, we can't just wait till we're hungry to figure out what we're going to eat, right? So I don't know. I'm assuming you all have families, and if not yourself, you deserve it too, right? But we should be thinking like, what are we going to cook for the week or for the month? And really, I don't know if you're into food preservation, or even if you're not, like, it takes the same amount of time to, say, make a spaghetti for one person as it does for 10 people. So make it for 10 people, put it away, and then you got quick ready meals all the time, right? So And I use spaghetti as a super bad example, especially when I'm talking about the liver. But the liver can actually tolerate some of that, right? And turns it, but the excess glucose, right? If you're eating that every day, then that gets turned into fat cells. And back to intelligent design. How does our body know how to do that? Oh, this is too much. They literally build new fats, like storage units of fat cells. And that's why 60-something% are overweight and obese in our country, Australia. Lots of countries that, well, probably all of them that have McDonald's, right? So convenience kills. And if we want to talk about detox, we need to talk about the liver and some things that we probably all have on hand at all times if we're a self-responsible household, or in our yard. And I'm not talking you have to plant a garden with 1,000 herbs. I'm saying like walk outside, and many of these are probably growing in the cracks in the sidewalk, whether you have a yard or not. So that's what I want to talk about. And I really want to stress the importance of, again, when people are looking for like detox or the next miracle pill or fad diet or whatever, we're taught to look out there, right? You mentioned Facebook. And they got ads for everything. And all you have to do is like think detox, right?
Yeah.
And you're and you're going to get like every supplement from again, they all come from corporations. Number one. Number two, they want us focused on herbs that grow over there. South America, China, at which all those places are great and they have good herbs. But getting back to intelligent design, do you seriously think a creator would put the one herb the entire earth needs in one faraway location? We have it all right here in our yards that we've been taught to walk on, spit on, dig up, overlook, poison, right? And I don't want to overlook and stress the fact, or I want to make sure I stress the importance of what we know as culinary herbs. Like, what a clever trick. Oh, they just taste good on your pizza, right? Like, these are medicine. Problem is with grocery store and health food store herbs, basils, the FDA says they can put like 25% bugs in them. I have on my website, you can see picture side by side, and there's a video, and see the difference. But if they were natural herbs from, like, say, your yard that you grew and you picked healthy, or from some weirdo like me who's local, right? Because you want local honey, that's what's going to protect you from whatever is in a local area. So that's why you can't go to the Walmart or Amazon and buy a bag of basil and cure your cancer. But if you grew it or had access to, you can. And so that's why I included most of what people look to as culinary herbs in here, because we're overlooking what's in our cabinet, what's right under our nose, when those are some of the most powerful hepoprotectives, neuroprotectives, cardioprotectives, have been proven and tested multiple times. Go to PubMed.gov, and their efficacy against cancer, diabetes, neurological dysfunction. I used to not be able to talk and walk. I don't have the best vocabulary in the world. I'm not like, I don't have the best memory, you know, but hello, I'm here. I'm speaking somewhat fluently, and I built all this, right? So if that's not proof right there that God, nature is smarter than man, I don't know what else is. So fortunately, it was so dark with me, I had no other choice. And I literally begged for death and went to a bunch of places to die. Hashtag prayer died here. And the joke was on me. And then I found a reason to live and my purpose. So I'm always grateful to share with people, real people, right? So, all right, what are some of the signs? I asked you, like, why you felt you had to detox, right? Like, what made you think that. And obviously there's marketing, there's gimmicks, there's social media, the influencers, people, all these experts and rich people telling you to buy this one product and it's going to change everything. But even if you just look to the surface on what I've included here today, you'll see that there is way more. I did not put any studies on here because go to the websites or just go to pubmed.gov yourself and type in oregano cancer or type in basil neurological or whatever, right? Or stevia diabetes or heart high blood pressure, white clover, or right? Or COVID, wormwood. Actually, this might, whatever, we'll get into that later. So what do I have on here? Okay, so I mentioned here, all right, so I did mention that some of the functions of the liver, but it actually has over 500 essential functions in the body. This is just a few. What's awesome about the liver is that we literally can regrow it if you damaged it, right? So just because you are diagnosed with fatty liver, blah, 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 or cirrhosis, blah, 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 or whatever, you can fix it. I've seen it with my own eyes. There are supplements I did not put on, or whatever, fucoidin elements I did not put on here because I wanted to focus on what we have here that everybody has access to, right? So so that's blah, blah, blah. So, all right. So the liver, of course, manufactures cholesterol, right? So about 80% of all the cholesterol that the liver manufactures comes from glucose. And the other 20% comes from proteins. So that's why, I mean, the liver's working full time, right? Converting that into glycogen and storing it and building all these other fat stuff, you know. So it's busy, but it's still doing its job. So when people are gaining weight or things like that, it doesn't need to be detoxed, right? It needs to be cleaned and treated better, but it is detoxing, and part of creating all that extra glycogen, whatever, is building new cells. So we want to, if we feel that we have symptoms, say, of a toxic liver, we may feel tired, fatigued, lethargic, brain fog. We may feel bloated. We may have joint inflammation. We may not be sleeping well. And a big sign that your liver may need a little assistance is if you're one of the people that wake up at 3 a.m. or around there. Why? Because being part of the parasympathetic nerve system, that's when it's doing its detox naturally. So if you're up, stressed out, or whatever, then it's not doing its job, and then things just get hidden away in the cell walls, and then it all continues. So, okay, so lack of sleep, irregular sleep, and constant infections, whether they're bladder, gallbladder, urinary tract, candida, like all of those things are signs. Skin problems of any kind, eczema, psoriasis, whatever they're all called, acne, like all of that. And that's because if our liver, if we're living a lifestyle where we don't have to detox, God, I love you so much, then you're eliminating all of the toxins naturally, through your number 2, right? So if you are not having regular bowel movements, that's a sign that your liver or whatever may want to, you might want to detoxify a little or nourish, enrich. Technically, Raymond Francis wrote a book called Never Be Sick Again. It's the best $15 investment you'll ever make. And he broke it down super simply. And by the way, on my YouTube channels, there's several shows of me interviewing him if you don't want to buy it, but you should buy it. But here's the punchline. There's one disease, two causes, period. Anything else you call it is just different degrees, right? So the one disease is, drumroll, toxicity. And that can only happen when our toxins outweigh our nutrition. So, okay, let's face it, we're all toxic. We're breathing fog, we're toxic fumes, we're drinking water, even if we do have a clean well. Something fell from the sky, something seeped into the ground, right? So we're all being bombarded by toxins all the time. So that is why we have to be diligent and work harder to ensure that we are upping our nutrition, and then our body can do all of its functions it needs to do naturally without even the help of an herb, right? So, which of course we should all have herbs again. Make your food your medicine, or if you don't take them daily, have them on hand. So a few at least, or just know what to pick in your yard. Like I said, I'll take you out there. We'll go check all that out. So those are some symptoms that you may want to consider cleaning your liver. Signs. Oh, I think I wrote that. Digestive issues, of course, skin issues, sleep. Okay. So if the liver isn't working properly, you may experience things like jaundice. Like my grandmother, I grew up with her putting injections in her butt every day. They call it Dubin-Johnson's disease, when really all it was switching to Crisco and what was that called back then? Sweet and Low. And then, oh, that was bad, but we have Equal. That's good. Oh, wait, that was bad, but we have Splenda. So, dietary changes. When they grew up on the farms, they were fine. When they went to city life and store-bought food, things changed. So, so swelling, nausea, digestive issues, pain. And by the way, the cause of all pain, or the one common denominator in any type of pain, doesn't matter what you call it, arthritis, bursitis, whatever, is inflammation. So it makes sense that when we plan our diet or whatever, we want to include natural anti-inflammatories. Again, everything I put on here, like, they were so overlapping. I'm just like, same as above. So you'll see if you read them all, because I'm just like, why? They're all anti-inflammatory. They all have antioxidants. They all are immune boosty, like every single one of them. Some of them to different degrees, right? And so that depends on where you are at with your own personal health journey or cleansing journey or treating your body the way you deserve journey, right? Like the sacred temple it is. So I don't know if that helps anyone, but if you truly know that the temple of God is within, then you owe it to, you. It's like, oh, God, help me with this. Oh, fuck you, God, I'm giving you poison. Oh, God, you know what I mean? Like, make your actions match your words. So if that is relevant for anybody, I normally don't. I'm not talking religion. I'm just saying there's something in us that makes our liver perform 500 different functions and keep us healthy no matter how much we abuse it, no matter how much poison we breathe, eat, drink, whatever, right? So whatever that is, I would definitely suggest honoring it and nurturing it. So keeping your liver healthy, I put basic stuff, right? Hydrate, lots of water, get all the sleep you can, reduce stress, practice healthy communication, anger, because again, looking at that perfectly designed machine, liver doesn't just store and produce and convert all those chemicals we talked about and more. It also stores our anger, our repressed anger. So when you look at people with like cirrhosis, for example, or like Good Time Charlie in the bar, like the nicest, sweetest guy everywhere, right? but he's using the alcohol to suppress the anger, which then affects the liver. So, healthy communication, prayer, meditation, yoga, stretching, boxing, painting, crochet, whatever your art is, right? Or whatever feeds your soul and helps reduce the natural stressors of life, whether emotional, physical, spiritual, or I think I said physical. Yeah, I posted a few other things there. Some of the foods that will help. I'm an idiot and I did not put bone broth. But I was focusing on normal. I had no idea who I'm talking to, and I'm trying to help the most people I can without being as scary and obtuse as I can be. I'm trying to be on good behavior. But yeah, so I would add bone broth and raw milk to the list, but cruciferous vegetables, cole crops, some people call them cold crops, but they're technically cole. So cabbage, kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and things high in healthy fats, nuts, whatever, if you're even able to get nuts that aren't already rancid and molded these days. I don't know, but choose
avocado too.
Avocado, if you can get a good avocado, absolutely eat them up. And oils, some they're not all the same, right? If it's a vegetable oil, or don't touch it. Canola oil, does anybody know what a canola is?
No.
Yeah, so it's a name they made up to market the oil they were using to grease the manufacturing machine parts in Canada. So it came from the rapeseed plant, which we already know is toxic. We use it at like war and stuff. But yeah, Canada oil, canola oil. And that's, remember when the news years ago, like, first it was olive oil, right? And then they're like, oh, no, don't touch that. This is better. Yeah, so.
But olive oil is good, right? The
cold pressed. Not all olive oil is the same, and it's getting harder and harder.
Is it virgin olive oil? Extra virgin olive
Extra
oil?
virgin is good. Just
Those
make
are
sure
the cold
any
pressed.
oil you use is cold pressed.
Will
Yeah.
they say it on there, or do we have to research
Oh,
it?
absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
recently they've found that people have been adulterating the olive oil, so they'll add in canola oil,
Makes
but
sense.
just enough so that you can't tell.
There's a website
So yeah,
that'll tell you which olive oils.
Has anyone gotten the
So is that why we need
standard
to do lard?
olive oil?
I have
Absolutely. If you have like lard, absolutely.
I mean,
Mhm.
but it's the lard
Surprisingly
bought from the
cheap.
store.
Okay.
Really? That's
Uh,
good.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion.
Well, and
I
saw-
will.
what
I
did you ask?
naturally hold a distrust for anything in the store, but
Okay.
I buy some and I look at the label. And if I'm trying to be healthy and there's something on there I don't want, then I'm not going to buy it. But-
Azure.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
About lard, like do you
Oh.
buy it from the store?
Oh.
Can you buy it? Like you can't buy it from
Well,
the
you
store,
can
but I was asking her.
Render
like,
your
Yeah.
own, like make
Yeah.
tallow.
Yeah. But I mean, we use we go through a big tub of it like every year because that's what we use.
That just made me think of something. So rendering the fat
Mm-hmm.
is also similar to a function our liver performs
Okay.
in the detox process, but also hydration process and a bunch of different
So you're saying
systems.
it's not good
but-
to render, or
Oh no, it absolutely is.
Okay.
But when you render it, and if you you can liquefy it, right? And well, that's what happens in our system. And then the fat turns into water. So, and that's why fasting, wet or dry, like I fast a day a week, I eat once a day. That's works for me. Some science might say it might be healthy for other people too, but not everyone, or not all the same, right? So different environment, different structures even. I mean, we look the same, right? We're humans. We have 2 arms, 2 legs. We talk a bunch of shit and then we sit on a chair and let the rest of the shit go. But we're not the same. We have different influences from everywhere. Some people have to eat more like a bird and 6 little greeny meals every day. And some people have to eat more like a bear or a wolf. And it's easier or whatever. Or environmental. Look at Alaskans. You think they have food walking up to their door every day? And they don't have vegetables, but somehow they're hungry. So fasting is one of the things that can help jumpstart your liver and have your body perform detox naturally without buying a supplement. Like literally, even without a herb, like just not eat for a day.
So when you say you fast a day, do you do liquid or?
I do.
You do.
Yeah, but you can go a day without.
Yeah.
And that will actually start sending the cells into autophagy. And so they'll be killing off the best. So you don't have to drink. Well, I shouldn't be saying this. This is super controversial. But if you're healthy and if you've discussed this with your doctor or whoever and you're self-responsible, right? And confident. It's not going to kill you to go one day without food and water.
Well, in our religion, growing up from the time you're about 8 to 12 years old, we do that 24-hour fast once a month.
Nice.
With no liquid also.
No liquid also, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of religions, except most of the popularized ones in this country, most of the popularized ones, like the Bible used to say pray and fast, but now all you have to do is just say I believe. So there was a reason that we should fast. That kills parasites, that helps our liver detox. So we can get into parasites, and yeah, I guess that's where we're going. So I think did I suggest yeah, keeping your liver healthy. Did I say enough there? Food,
Yeah,
garlic, onions, ginger, lemon. Like I said, if you drink that tea every single day, there would be no need for detox. And surprisingly, the liver is connected to way more diseases than we know of, right? Because our brains don't function without, nothing functions without the processes of the liver. So it's probably of utmost importance to think about feeding it like we do our car or our garden or our cats.
And I think the thing that you said earlier about everybody being different is key.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's been the hardest thing for me on my journey, because I always wanted to find the perfect diet. Just tell me what to do and then I'll do it.
Right.
And, finally, maybe 5 years ago, I realized everyone's different.
Right.
And so the journey is really figuring out what works for you.
Right. I have a video. I think it's called The Perfect Diet. It was a live video. Just, I don't know. I don't remember anything I say really, but that's pretty much the premise of it. And I guess I don't know. Hey, if you are on YouTube, we're not watching anything. This is here just for whatever. We're going to probably take it down and edit it into just the information instead of just the blah, blah, blah time. So, okay. So liver.
So herbs.
So some of the things, getting to parasites in a slow, long, scenic way. Some of the things that can help our liver better, right, is a healthy gut microbiome, right? And so we kill that in many ways. Again, drinking soda. It dissolves battery acid and crazy stuff like that. So it's definitely killing our good bacteria. Things like, so keeping your gut bacteria healthy through whatever way, whether it's through bone broth or eating these foods before, or even things like, by the way, I have buttloads of sunchokes. If any of y'all need them, we can dig some up and take a bag home. But they're chock full of inulin, which is the prebiotic that all the fad people are talking about today, right? And trying to get you to the store to go buy a little baggie of their supplement or Amazon and then stick it in your fake store-bought homemade yogurt. Like, all we have to do is eat the right foods and herbs. And if y'all are from here, you know that grows on the side of the freeway. Again, free medicine, right? And some of the herbs here also contain inulin. The heart, we'll get into that.
I'm going to get to this, but what do you do with them?
With what?
The essentials.
Oh, okay. So, if they're also...
It's inulin, not insulin.
Oh, inulin.
Is inulin the same as insulin?
No.
Sorry,
Or is it like it's supposed to be a replacement for it?
No, it's a prebiotic
Oh,
that gets all your probiotics in your digestive system working properly, basically. So if you have, or if you're sluggish, right? So if you're not taking a healthy crap at least once a day, I mean, technically it should be after every meal. I eat once a day, so that's my schedule. But some people, once a week, twice a week, or all these things, those are signs you've got some problems, and you might want to look at your gut biome, which in turn will help your liver in its functions, right? Because if it's busy fighting all the bad bacteria and having to replace more red blood cells and all of the, it's busy and then storing all the extra glycogen, like it's busy, right? So, how to eat sunchokes and not discover why their nickname is fartichokes.
Oh.
That it's because of the high content of inulin. And if you want to eat them raw, they are super delicious. They're kind of like a jicama, sweet potato, touch of radish kind of taste. If you don't want to hang out in the bathroom all night, probably either don't eat more than 3 or 4 or peel them. And if you ever peeled ginger, it's the same process. Now, I love to eat them roasted. They taste just like artichokes. So if you don't want the high inulin content that is going to literally cause World War III in your gut, I'm not joking, but it's fun. They'll be the greatest farts ever. And farting is good for you, by the way. I've done those shows and all of that, right? We're not supposed to be suppressing these functions of our body that society tells us to, right? So anyways, if you need a jump start.
I'll be really glad to hear that.
Oh, I literally made a fart rap back in the day, and I recorded all my farts for a month. And so it's just one of the 13 major bodily functions that we are to never suppress, that other countries, other religions know, but we don't. So I'm just saying, like, if you're like in school or a job in an office, right, and you have to ask permission to go pee, or you hold your farts in, you hold your burps in, you hold your yawns in, you hold your tears in. Like, that causes problems. People who have like constant urinary tract infections, I guarantee they're probably like an office, or they're trying to be polite and don't want to do that in front of other people. So just saying, there's a correlation. We have these functions and processes for a reason. It's cute when a dog farts or an elephant. Why ain't it cute when we do it? Okay. I think I might have, I don't even know. I might have been talking to you about parasites. So getting back to the ginger and lemon and helping our apples are really good, which is why when you asked what juice do I recommend, carrot, apple, lemon, ginger. That's the number 1 juice, if you're going to start juicing, that I recommend. Why? Because it's affordable and it's widely available, right? If you can get good beets in season, of course, that's awesome. And getting back to the well-designed machine, what does a beet look like? The blood red beet. It looks like your liver. It looks like your kidney, right? So if you want to know what's good for your body without actually knowing anything, right, or studying it, what does it look like? What does the flower look like? What does the bean look like? You have chambers in your heart. What does this tomato or this pepper look like?
Wow.
Right? Grapefruits, like Yeah, it's not an accident. Or things that look like your eye, you know, carrots. Like it's not an accident. So where was I going? Okay, so the juices, if
Yeah.
Yeah. With your ginger lemon tea, do you just boil some of the ginger and lemon and then put water and put it in your fridge for like a week long?
okay, so normally when I make what I call tea is, okay, so first of all, you never want to boil herb, like nice basil leaves or
Never
whatever,
boil
because
herbs.
then you'll like kill
Yes.
some of the medicinal content in it. But when you're dealing with like ginger or any other root, like valerian or echinacea or burdock or yellow dot or whatever, and a root, you can boil it.
Okay.
And whether I'm making just a leaf tea, right, like a herb tea, or even if I'm doing a leaf tea, I'm going to bring the water to a boil, turn the fire off, stick the herb in, put the lid and the towels, and walk away till tomorrow. That's my general. If I'm doing that with ginger, I'm going to put the ginger in with the water right away, bring it to a boil, let it boil for a while, then turn it off, then add the herb.
How long is a while?
When you think about it, 10 minutes. Trust your
Okay.
intuition. You'll know.
You don't put the lemon
Okay.
in at the beginning with it?
No. So I juice the lemons,
So you put
and then I pour that in after.
Okay.
Also, when I get the cases of organic lemons from a jeweler, I save the peel and I dehydrate them, or I make, I shave it and make the lemon rind, like for cooking or for flavoring, and then I have like quarter-sized peels in the apothecary, and I could literally just put a peel if I didn't have like fresh lemon juice or something, put that in there, and you get all the properties, because actually, maybe, I don't know, most or many or at least the same amount, maybe more, of the nutrients are in the peel.
Can
Right.
you, if you don't have a dehydrator, can you just, or a freeze dryer, can you just dehydrate
Absolutely.
lemon slices?
Yep.
Or would you just do the peel?
Oh, okay. So you can do slices, but honestly, I think that's good. It'll take a long time in a dehydrator.
Okay.
So I juice it and use the peel. I just dehydrate them.
So at
I'll
that
show
point,
you.
it's like a
Actually,
pulp,
I'll go
right?
grab one.
Well, yeah, and
And
if
then
your
you can
juicer makes
see-
a pulp.
Yeah, is yours a pulp then after you juice it?
I squeeze them with
Okay.
one of those little hand
So how many
things.
times dehydrate your pulp?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
if
not
I'm making like it depends on what I feel like, but there's been times I make a gallon of ginger juice or tea, whatever, and then put the juice of 20 whole lemons in it.
Wow.
It just.
Would you give it a week in your fridge before it goes bad?
It would never last that long.
Okay.
Drinks it
But yes,
But
and that's
so-
why I do with the juice. I'll juice like a week, a gallon at a time. And then it's always there, and that helps with busy schedules and chaotic families. Nobody has time to do this every day. So I'm just gonna grab those lemon peels here real quick.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
It's
Just
so
do it
messy.
once yeah.
Hi. You look like Oreo.
That is a big tuxedo cap.
So these are
My hair looks big,
dehydrated
too.
lemon peels. And as you'll see when I open it, I still smell all the medicine. So it still has all the limonene and like all the
smells
yummy
so
properties.
Earthy.
So you can make a tea and just throw one of those in it, right?
And then when do you put the mint in? Because you can't.
After you turn the fire off.
Okay, after.
Yeah.
Put mint in after you turn.
So if you're not, like, say you don't have ginger, or let's say you already had like ginger and poured into cubes in your freezer, like if you just say dandelion, mint, like any herb like that, right? Thyme, oregano, you don't want to boil them. So just bring the water to a boil and then shut it off, then add the herb, put a towel of it, walk away. If you need to have it now, drink it. You're not going to die. It's just not going to be its full medicinal benefits. But
Is the towel, how important is the towel?
well, how much does your thing leak?
Oh, so you're keeping, so the towel is not necessarily to keep it warm, but to,
Keep all the.
Right.
evaporation.
Everything.
So like, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I
So
don't.
you sometimes strain it the next day and pour it in ice molds, and then you just put that in some water.
The tea, I strain it and it'll go in the mason jar or a pitcher or something like that. And then that's where, yeah. But if I make like 2 gallons, then yeah, I'm probably going to drink a gallon and then the other gallon's going to go in the freezer and then dump out the ice cubes. And then let's say I'm bedbound or some fog comes over and all your neighbors are sick or something like that, then I literally can grab the medicine immediately. And I do that with other herbs, by the way, and I can show you where were you around when I got that metal thing stuck in my face under my eye?
No.
Yeah, so I healed that with nothing. Like, there was 0 blood, 0 pain, 0 anything. I got pictures, I'll show you later. But I was weed whacking or edging or whatever, and some metal thing came up and hit me in the eye. And so I just grabbed a yarrow leaf and put that there. And then my neighbor helped me pull it out because it was like a hook. And then I went to my freezer where I already had comfrey, yarrow, and self-heal as ice, and that's what I put on it.
Do you do them separate in the ice cubes?
You
So
can,
or
but
do
the
you-
one I have in the bag isn't. I'll just make like a tea and add all of the wound care stuff, or just whatever. Plantain, self-heal, yarrow, comfrey, and boil them together, and then you stick them in a Ziploc bag or whatever. But ice cubes are good because who knows how many. If you're like me, you're going to be able to test it out on a lot of injuries, right? But it'll take the pain away and kill the bacteria or any type of infection. When I cut my fingertip off, like, I didn't have the finger to put back there. All I did, I stuck it in my mouth. I came back in the house. I grabbed my all wound cream, put it on there with a paper towel and duct tape, and went right back to work. When I put that on there, it instantly stopped the bleeding, took the pain away, took the throbbing away, instantly, instant. That's the power of yarrow, self-heal, plantain, comfrey, and these other herbs that I work with and make fine medicine that's disguised as skincare. I don't want to get killed again, you know what I mean? So, okay. I want to answer all of your questions, and I'm not in a hurry if you're not, so I promise I'll answer them all. And if you're on YouTube, I'll look at the chat after I answer everybody's questions here, and if you're still there, whatever, I'll answer what's in there if I haven't already. Okay, so the foods. All right, so after that, then the next 3 pages are all about herbs. So I'm just going to name a few. Dandelions, of course. Also, I forgot to mention in the foods that will help cleanse the liver, like when I mentioned like the cold crops and cruciferous, ginger, lemon, apples, things like that. You also, bitters and dandelion, arugula, things like that are considered bitters. They're in our yards. Again, other religions, other cultures know that and always have a bitter, as whether it's an aperitif or bitters drops they take right before their meal to help with digestion, help produce bile, help, again, you don't need to detox it, you need to feed it properly and eat a diet that doesn't necessitate you looking for a detox program. Okay. Dandelion, burdock. I'm just going to go through them quickly, then you can ask questions, and we can go outside and look at them. Burdock, yellow dock, thistle. I wrote all thistle because people are always only talking about milk thistle, but any thistle is good for your liver. Chicory, cleavers, chickweed, henbits, dead nettles. Again, I'm focusing on things that grow in our yards all the time. Stinging nettle, echinacea. Now, I don't know if you're noticing a pattern here, but when it came to the flu topic, all these herbs are the same, right? So, like, everybody's heard of echinacea for flu, cold, stuff like that. but did you ever hear that it helps strengthen the liver and detox the liver? Okay, so echinacea, holy basil, wormwood, thyme, oregano, again, focusing on what we all have, rosemary, sage, oxeye daisy, they grow here everywhere. Feverfew, if you do get it growing, it'll be great. But I wouldn't call it a native like all the others. Okay, mullein, of course, self-heal. I'm going to get into a few that maybe not everybody knows. Persimmon, they grow wild everywhere here. The persimmon leaves, red buds, and they are so delicious. And not only are they good for the liver, but they have been proven effective against cancer, specifically breast cancer. Oh, yeah. Leaves and flowers. The flowers are delicious. You can make a delicious syrup with it. I make teas with it. I make skincare with it. Yeah, and they're delicious. You could eat them just right off the tree. Yeah, so harvest your red buds when you get them. They're good medicine.
They're coming
They're
up
beautiful.
Soon.
soon.
Red bud. Okay, pine needles. I put willow, lemon balm, peppermint, crepe myrtle.
Any kind of willow, like weeping willow.
Yeah, see, everybody talks about white willow bark, which, yes, that's been the most widely tested and may have the highest content of salicin. I don't know, but I do know that all willow trees contain the same. So that's, again, nature doing its all smart and shit thing, trying to make sure we're all served, right? Crepe myrtles, right? It's not just for grandmas who like pretty trees.
I had no idea.
What part of the crepe myrtle do you?
Leaves and flowers. Elderberry, red and white clover, catnip. That's where I ended it because the others were, I just wanted to focus on what everybody knows that grows right here and widely available. And I'm done. Okay.
Do you grow catnip?
I do.
How do you manage to grow it with all the cats? Because
I
I had a beautiful catnip plant that I finally got established. And in one day, one of my outside cats just came and rolled, and now no more catnip. They just rolled in it, and I've had it inside where I have a cat, and I've had it outside where there's like 5 neighborhood cats. And I'm thinking to maybe put it on top of my fridge. I don't know what to do. I can't get it established.
Oh, they'll get on your fridge. They'll get on those.
How do you grow
No,
it?
they're jerks. So I probably bought a new catnip starter at least 25 times. In the beginning, when I had one cat, I didn't know that, destroyed. So I have to keep it in the greenhouse now. But then they break in the greenhouse through the little vents. And so that's how I left all my catnip in the greenhouse this year because I got tired of that.
I saw somewhere, and I've done it.
Hide it in your bathroom.
My
that's a
plants
good
from the
idea.
chickens.
I'm trying that in
is you
there
can
with
get
some
those
plants.
mesh, trash cans and put it on top.
Oh, I've seen that.
Right, there's that. Perfect. They'll break it though. They'll realize that it's like
It'll
flimsy.
save it for
They'll sit on top. They'll just rip that off.
Yeah.
But it's an awesome idea. You should totally try it and then let us know.
Cats. I just have chickens, and it worked for the chickens.
Nice.
And my garden is fenced, but if we had a cat, that wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
Could it hang?
Yeah.
Oh, why not? Yeah.
So you could put it like you know how we do bird feeders.
Maybe they wouldn't wallow.
So
Or a
you
little
could put it up high
arch
enough.
somehow, or cats. You know,
I was just contemplating.
they're here
how
to
you
test
could
us.
possibly have catnip, 'cause I can't live with one cat.
The greenhouse. It was the only way. And I used to have a plant cage built upstairs in the cat room, but I took that down to build the chicken coop inside the greenhouse. But I had to. Every plant I put in the house. That's why I finally decided try to recover them in the bathroom and try to keep them out of the bathroom.
Accessible.
But they still fake me out in there. And I'll close the doors and I think, no, but then they're in there just digging it all up again. So I don't know how to win. Cats are gods and they control us and we're just their slaves janitors, and I don't have an answer.
I managed to get a feverfew well established. And I brought it
Nice.
inside, so it's still doing really well, but I have no idea what to do with it.
Okay, so feverfew. It's in a name, right? It's
How do I
if you have a
harvest it and
fever.
prepare it?
Oh,
Like,
flowers.
I heard it was good for that.
Just
And
cut
that's the
it.
extent of what I know. I don't know what else, what all I can do or how one would use it. But it's well established and looks good.
Okay, so definitely just all the aerial parts, and you could either make a tincture with them, which is a super high dose of medicine for a little amount, and another one of the benefits of tincturing the herb, again, the highest concentration, lower yield, but it lasts forever. So that's a good method of preparation. And then the rest, dehydrate it so you can make a tea. So like if you just feel something coming on or a low grade fever, then tea, all that stuff is good. But if you're like really getting tickled and your throat then I go for the tincture. Like I don't want to mess around. I put it sublingually and I want it to act now because I don't have time to get sick. So how much medicine or how you choose to prepare it, but having it in the different forms gives you a variety of ways you can prepare it. Because also with the dehydrated, if you're it's not just for tea, you can then make an oil with it. And a lot of these medicines, including everything we talked about, oregano, self-heal, etc., work topically. So let's say you have a liver pain or something, you could put like, say a drop of castor oil or anything you want on a comfrey leaf and put it there, or make a poultice with feverfew for your throat or head, or mint or ginger or any of these things we've talked about today, including turmeric. I just didn't add turmeric there because it's not widely available and doesn't grow here, and I kill it even in the greenhouse every year.
But you wouldn't recommend like the organic turmeric that you get
Absolutely.
from the store?
If you can get turmeric, definitely utilize it exactly like ginger, or even like headaches. You can make a paste with it so you can take all these things internally, but you could also use them topically.
Because when I make like my wellness shots, like I put just organic turmeric from
Perfect.
health food store. That's
Yep.
fine. Okay.
Perfect. Yep. Or just the root is good too. And then you can do
even
all
know
the
what
same
I'm doing.
things. Yeah, exactly. That's why.
Azure
I
sells
don't.
it.
I just found out about this
Yeah.
website, so
Yeah,
need
so
to take
Azure
that
is a
down.
good place for things
Oh, you
like
sent it
that.
to me.
But
I sent it to you.
generally, like a turmeric in a store, I don't know. So again, that's why I
Yeah,
chose like the
no, I
herbs
got
I
you, but
did
it's just a
talk
hard-
about, because they're easy and
Yeah.
they're available. And then it's also part of just helping ourselves be more diverse in our knowledge of how to help and treat different things. So again, when I said the detox topic and the flu topic is exactly the same, all of these herbs can help with that. And I have a couple surprises, kind of, they're not that big, but I made kind of a little chart about, so a lot of people getting back to the parasites, we talked ginger and lemon. Of course, wormwood was on the list, which I have always called nature's ivermectin. Well, now it's kind of proved to 1, 2,
My mom and I can
Go.
share. We don't have enough.
oh, I have plenty, and I made extra to give to other people.
Is it too?
So this is comparing wormwood and ivermectin. And I get, if we have farms, we have to have things like that on hand for our animals and stuff. But I also know
We need
that
one more. Yeah, we need one more.
Oh, Mom.
that anything you're allowed to hear.
It's the same page.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So anything we're allowed to hear is there for a reason. So even though people are trying to demonize ivermectin, and then there's the other people's, I'm just saying it's pharma. So I'm here to teach you how to do things naturally without the middleman and take the risk of side effects. So again, I always called wormwood nature's ivermectin. Here's actual factual proof, and you can also look up the studies if you're watching on there. So both of them are proven antiparasitics. Both of them have been studied for antiviral activities, including COVID, flu, and other so-called viruses. They're both anti-inflammatories, but where wormwood surpasses the abilities of ivermectin is its ability for liver detox, immune support, and a few other things. So I just put that in this little chart for y'all. Whatever. And
is there anything?
And wormwood's also considered a bitter. Sorry, getting back to that.
I was just gonna
So
ask
it's a bit-
if there's anything you would recommend taking with wormwood, or is it strong enough?
Wormwood. If you want to take something that's with wormwood, it's because you want to tone it down, right? Because it's too bitter.
Oh, okay.
So, but I love the smell, the flavor. We can go inhale some of my herbs if you want, and it's just so calming. Again, that's another herb that works on the parasympathetic nerve system, which again contains the liver and all of its 500 functions. So, yeah, somebody brought up parasites earlier, and we're riddled with parasites. I mean, we're a parasite, right? And I'm not talking in a Klaus Schwab sort of way, but I'm just saying, right? We have to continue. I mean, we don't meet the technical definition of a parasite, right? But technically we do. We are kind of sucking off the same host that we disrespect. Yeah, anyways, that's another conversation. But so some of the best ways, wormwood, of course. I'm sure everybody's heard of like pumpkin seeds or black walnut shells. But honestly, in my house, I mean, I save all my pumpkin seeds and I roast them and eat them. Again, I make my food my medicine, so I don't ever have to be like, oh my God, I'm overloaded. What do I do? But wormwood and DE, I have not seen anybody or any situation that wasn't enough for. So when people ask about ivermectin and tell me about their success stories, I get it. I know that it is helping some people in some limited way, but at what cost? And again, if the news puts it out there, whether good or bad, they're putting it out there because they want people to take it. And it's a fact that good things get mysteriously contaminated all the time. So do you want to be in control and responsible for your health, or do you want to trust some dude in a lab? That's your choice. So
how would you take wormwood and DE?
DE. So we can go to the kitchen, but basically, I mean, you could use a bamboo stick or whatever. But I just a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons. Like, how toxic do you feel? Probably if you're new to it, maybe start with a half a tablespoon. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. Again, it's going to help clean you out, right? Because as it kills the parasites, they got to come out some way. Getting back to the methods of elimination. I did briefly start the bowel movement thing, and then I got off track. But if you're not eliminating if you're eliminating properly, it comes through your bowels. If you're not eliminating properly, it comes through your breath, it comes through your sweat, and in worst case scenario, it comes through your skin. So that's what acne, psoriasis, like all of those skin conditions, the eruptions that come up, and we could talk about the metaphysical aspects or emotional aspects of that too if you want. But yeah, so if you're breaking out, then you know, okay, I gotta pull back on the toxins here, right? And yeah, you want it to go through your colon.
Yeah, I mean that's just like common knowledge. Like if I'm eating something bad, it's gonna show up on my skin.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, again, if your liver is, but yeah, the bad garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right.
It's just like
That's right.
common sense and
Yeah.
for a
What do you
lot of
think?
people.
Yeah.
So it's
But some
almost-
people get mad if you talk about clean. I just found out that was like a bad thing to talk about now. Like
What is?
clean food
Oh.
or just everything I've ever talked about is illegal. That's, you know, whatever.
So you almost want to work on your digestion first.
Yes. Yes. And that prevents the need to detox. It'll prevent the so-called flu or whatever else, which, like, I don't know why that's, I mean, do you ever remember in your lifetime where, like, the entire world and large populations, like, live their whole life afraid of a so-called flu? Schools shut down? Got, like, what the, right?
We took the flu home and passed it around the family,
Right.
and everybody got a, you know.
You got a day off. You're like, yes, Mom, I'm sick. No, for reals this time. Right? But now it's like, ooh, and it pulls people away so we don't have situations like this, right? Communities, helping communities, sharing skills, knowledge, etc. Ridiculous.
How do you take the wormwood again?
Okay,
Because we
So,
talked about the dimetation.
wormwood. So you can make a tea with it. I make a tea with it, but due to its bitterness, and it just, you know, some people like bitter, and you should have a little ounce or whatever. It depends on how strong you make your tea. But make a tea and take as much as you can. If you make it super weak, like I put, I think it was you that asked about stevia earlier,
Yes.
but I put my stevia leaves in with the wormwood and a little holy basil. So sometimes you mix it with sage, and if you want to just kill everybody, like every parasite, bacteria, etc., and or you just want to make a tonic, or again, don't make a gallon of it, right? There's no need for that. But if you have like a mason jar full and you just take a shot a day, right?
So you
Tincture
said-
is the strongest because with the tincture, you are extracting the alcohol soluble properties and the water soluble properties. Whereas making a tea, you're only extracting the water soluble properties, right? So that's somewhat explains the need for different preparations of different herbs, oil soluble properties. And so how you take them depends on which constituent you're going to get, right? And in what dose. So that's why I recommend tinctures. I used to not recommend tinctures or even take them myself because I'm like, ooh, that's alcohol, that's bad. But alcohol is medicine. And if you want a powerful and 3 drops and cure your menopause, or you know what I mean? Like, it's dumb. It's just a method of delivery that gives you twice the nutrients that you can get with water alone.
So you said wormwood, stevia leaves, holy basil, and what?
Oh, I think that tastes great.
Just all
Yeah.
those.
I mean, there's
And you said
no
if you wanna
reason
kill
why you would
everything, you take
need.
a drink of it each
Oh,
day.
put some sage. Yeah.
Sage.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't.
But you don't have
That's
to,
not-
you know.
Oh, we grow
Just
sage.
do the
We love
wormwood
sage.
and yeah, okay. If you like to drink
I
it,
saw your
do.
sage plant out there.
There
Is that
might
like
be a
your-
few. I
think
try
there's a
to
couple, yeah.
have things in
We
different
have this
places.
huge sage plant in our greenhouse.
Nice. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so sage is excellent medicine. It's good for all lung conditions. I'm sure some of the handouts I gave you address some of its neuroprotective properties, but they're all HEPA protectives or they would not be on here. HEPA protective means liver protectant, HEPA, anything you hear the word or the prefix HEPA, it means liver. So hepatitis or whatever. I can't think.
So if
of
someone
that.
has can't get rid of pneumonia,
Mm.
sage, like drink it in a tea.
Yeah, so
Tinctures, would that work for that?
that would work, but also I would just recommend something more. And I have a video from a time where I actually did have a pneumonia and got rid of it in a couple days. So a pneumonia is technically like a wet lung condition, right? So I recommend rosemary. I'm sure you have both. So if there's a choice on which you're going to go for pneumonia, I would suggest rosemary first because you have the wet lung. But I would also, I mean, there's so many things you could do. Again, ginger lemon. You could, if you don't like taking oregano oil, put it in a capsule with some coconut oil, cayenne, cinnamon, or turn that into a tea with your ginger lemon, put a little, you know, there's so many things you can do. And also, if you could make all these things as tinctures, right? Even the cayenne, and then you don't have to have the powder on the top of your beverage if you want like a nice, warm, soothing beverage. Also, that drink I showed you in there, I started canning with just the ginger, 3 cloves, and cinnamon. Cinnamon and cloves are also something were on my initial list, but again, it took me wherever I went here instead. But those are definitely things you always want to have in your kitchen on hand and everything we talked about. But if you think ahead of time, right, then you're going to have like a clove oil in your cabinet that you made already, or like cinnamon or clove tincture or ginger, or right. And then like, let's say it's a true like survival situation, or there's no power and you have to figure out how to do everything off grid and you can't go to a store or whatever. Guess what? You got those tiny little bottles that can help people with just drops. So you get the flavor, you get the medicine, and it's convenient.
So, sidetracked from this, my dog started limping a few weeks ago, and we took him in. We thought it was Lyme disease because we don't have him on medication. We're more trying to just like get the environment less ticks. And he came down. It's not Lyme disease. It's like uricululosis. It's another tick disease. And they wanted to put him on 4 antibiotics a day for a month. But he was already on antibiotics last year for something else. And I know how bad they are. And like, so we found these drops. And it has Japanese knotweed, cat's claw, astragalus, cryptal something, andrographis, and neem. He's been taking it for like 4 days. He still limps. Would you suggest something else?
Getting back to like the beginning when I suggested we get to know what we have in our yard, that's widely, like you can't even pronounce the words, but we're buying it because somebody said it works.
Yes.
Right? So neem oil is awesome. I use it sometimes in my sprays if my animals have okay, so it's good for your plants. It's good for you, for skin. It's great medicine. All of those things are good medicine alone in itself. Would I mix a concoction like that for my dog? Probably not, because they don't even grow in my yard. They don't even grow here. Okay. So let's say it was the greatest thing ever and you can't get it again. Or let's say you have a bad reaction. There's 6 ingredients in there. You have no idea what did that. Let's say it does work. Again, there's 6 ingredients in there. You don't know what did that. So when treating my pets, there's a lot of herbs that we want to give them because they work so well for us, but some of them aren't so safe. That being said, that doesn't mean that they can't have a drop of oregano, but to give them a lot of oregano, probably not. So I would probably put some rosemary and self-heal and dandelion. And then mix it in his food. I would not recommend this, but I will say multiple people have used my Pain Be Gone on their pets and not only got
internal or external?
External, and not only got rid of the pain, but also the cyst or tumor or things like that associated. Again, I'm not recommending it. Read the testimonials, but there is peppermint and menthol in there, so I would use caution. So things, lemongrass is safe and will kill the I don't know, whatever, all those stupid names they have. And you could read more about this again on mytrueessence.net. I think I told you ChristieAphrodite.com. That's a lot of my I want to fight you articles where like showing all the, see, they lie. And then my True Essence is a little nicer. I have some, and there's not that much over there though. There's just some blogs that'll talk about some of those situations. So self-heal and down the line are natural antivirals. They're natural anti-inflammatories, and they're safe for pets.
What do you do for your pets here? Because I'm sure you also have ticks around.
Right. So I don't know. Somebody mentioned my house smelled good.
I love that smell.
That's my bug spray. I also use it to clean, and I keep the house like carpets or blankets or beds or cat trees. I spray them so that when the cats come in, the essential oils will get on them, and then the ticks will be mad and die. So also, I mean, my main spray that I recommend for that, it's on the site, and I have some, but it's cedar, clove, peppermint, and lemongrass. And I have alcohol and water. All my recipes are on the sites, and they're right here in my house, so I have no problem doing that. The only reason I don't spray that directly on pets is because of the alcohol, the clove, and the peppermint. So that's why I spray the carpets, the bedding, etc. They can touch it, they can do that, but I wouldn't want to put it directly on the skin. I make another bug spray that is proven to kill ticks and Lyme disease and whatever. It's safe directly on the pet skin. And same thing, cedar, geranium, and what else I put in there? I think I put citronella and like some lemon infused vinegar. Okay. Also, if you just want to kill like ticks and stuff, there's a million things. I think the blog is called Bugging Out. It's on mytrueessence.net, and there's like a whole long for your garden, for your house, for your pets. So I suggest all sorts of things, and by no means are these or any of those the full picture, right? There's still even more, but that's like should be more than enough, right? Right. So
somewhere, yeah.
as a general rule, cedar, clove, thyme, I'm speaking in general, geranium. I mean, because there's many repellents, right? Peppermint is a repellent. Lavender is a repellent. Citrus is a repellent. That's great, but I want to kill parasites. I think they're demons. So then I have like, I'm not like, oh, you poor little thing, you know?
Those
like,
4 things you just named are killers.
Yeah. Yes, they kill them. You can put some in a spray bottle, put with water, and if you see one, you just spray one and you see.
And
Also,
that's on your website though?
the information, yes. And yeah, if you didn't have your own ability to make things, I produce those things. Neem oil kills them all. Every single type of parasite or anything. So
like in your garden, squash bugs.
Oh, that too, but also on your pet and safe for pets.
So neem oil is safe for pets.
Yes. So you don't have to just do like a water-based spray, or you can like put olive oil or coconut oil. It depends on how bad it is, right? Like some dogs have, or cats or whatever, and they're all tore up, their skin's all dry, right? So I'm not going to spray an essential oil and water. I'm going to use the oil then, because it's going to help nourish it. So depending on how bad it is, parasitic or bacteria, neem oil is an awesome choice. Neem oil, hopefully you're getting it from a reputable source, because in the last few years I found out that they sell like it's a type of neem, but not the word that starts with the A, and they like sell it in Home Depot or like Lowe's or something. Just make sure what you're getting is like the neem with the AZ word that I can't think of right now, because that's the component in it that kills everything. And yes, it'll kill squash bugs, Japanese beetles. Oh man, they're jerks. So I use neem and DE. That's my insecticides.
Okay.
Yeah. Also,
Where do you get your DE from? we can buy it
Howell Feed.
Okay, like the 50-pound sack.
Yes.
Or 25-pound
Yes.
sack. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
that's
it
what we
goes to
have.
my
That's what I'm sure it's
goats. It goes to my chickens. It
Oh,
goes
yeah.
to me. It
Yeah.
goes. So I go through a lot of it. When I first got here, there were fleas, and it was torture. And I actually made us sick with like dust clouds of DE. So I just want to say, if you're listening to this at any time or whatever, like be careful, use caution. You can inhale it. It can destroy your respiratory system. And I'm hopefully not completely destroyed, but you can feel it, right? It might feel like COVID or whatever. Speaking of which, I have a surprise-ish, and it's kind of funny. You said you're the singer.
Oh,
No.
why me?
Here, but it's for everybody. It's just, I just thought it would be a little fun. I'm not a singer, but also I can't talk about flu and detox without talking about the sky.
It's the same one, Mama. I think she's just giving
Oh,
us
okay.
some. to
Two
pass
pieces, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
pass them around.
around. Oh, it's 2 pieces?
Yeah, two
Oh,
pieces.
no. Oh, per person.
Yes. It's a song you'll love,
Okay,
I'm
so
sure.
there's the 2. I was making sure I didn't.
How many
mix them
more do we need?
up.
Do we get everyone?
One more.
Did I?
I was making sure I don't pass the papers out and then mix them up and you get 2.
So, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm not any of these things, but I am a first responder and I am the local witch doctor. And I am a gardener with animals. So I watch the sky. I know when plants die. I know when animals die. I know when people die. And I also know what the sky looks like. So other people do their testing, the internet, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to tell you that. But anyways, we wrote, my house partner, he's way better at this kind of stuff than me, but I don't know. I did like little ditties with a different song. I forget what it was now. Oh yeah, that Don't Speak song. I'm like, don't breathe. And I don't know what came out of my mouth, but so this is the end result of that. There's probably more coming, but I would just say use caution when there's different types of trails and weather warfare and sky systems, and they have different properties, and I would just assume different poisons, right? I mean, we all know of the regular barium, lithium, strontium, cadmium, the lead, the aluminum, the whatever. I don't know. It's all internet stuff. What I know is that it's something, and that's when everyone got sick. So calls
today
can go
was
from 2 a week to 8 in a day, where I get to bury 4 of my neighbors in 1 week. So that's where people are coming over. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, don't this, that, or oh, my pig, or my cat, or my dog, or whatever. So I don't know. I just know there's a correlation. So if you want to not die of respiratory disease or, all of this information and herbs I shared today, if you incorporated these things into your diet, you wouldn't have to worry about it. And also probably stay inside and do some canning or something homebound when you smell the metal-ish, plastic-ish, gray, hazy, fog look-alike that doesn't get your windows wet like normal fog, right? And yeah, I guess that's about all I have to say so I don't die.
I was wondering about the neem oil. Whole Foods sells neem. I forget exactly what the product is, but it's neem that is used for birth control. I don't know how effective
Yep.
it is, but
Yep.
I didn't know. Since I had learned about that, I haven't wanted to use it on things because I've thought, well, I don't know if this is something that can affect a person's reproduction.
So it's a side.
I've been hesitant to ever use it for anything.
Right.
Is
So
it,
it's
if you
true.
spray it on your plants and then you feed it to your kids, like, is this gonna affect reproduction? In
Right.
some way, I don't know, and because I just find it odd they use it. It can be used for that. So do you know anything about that? Or?
So these are my thoughts, and I am actually so glad to hear that it's like in stores, people promoting that, because I was saying that like 15 years ago, lemon juice, neem oil are 100% effective for 5,000 years for birth control. And side as a suffix of a word, right, basically means death. So insecticide, pesticide, well, that's what neem is. And fortunately, things like neem and DE allegedly don't kill the beneficial bugs or bacteria, but I also don't know anyone like or any reason to use neem oil every day. So as for the plant, when you apply it, it's a systemic. So it goes into the plant and kind of grows along with it. So the pests, squash bugs, parasites, whatever, that bite it, it goes into their system and it doesn't kill them, but it makes them kill themselves. Like they hate it so much that they quit eating. So as far as affecting long-term reproductive health in humans, from a little bit of neem oil, say 2 applications on a plant in a year, I'm not an expert, not a medical professional, but my guess is no. And I could probably use the evidence of the fact that I don't get sick at all ever. And I use that now. But before I used any of this stuff we're talking about today, I was sick all the time. So I'm just going to assume that it's not really gonna, I don't know anyone, or I can't think of a reason for anyone to use enough that could potentially. That being said, everything could be poison, right? Water, honey, if you're gonna drink neem, I wouldn't recommend wormwood. They used wormwood and valerian to kill people, okay? So
but the
anything.
way they use neem oil as a birth control is as a spermicide, isn't it?
Right,
But
so
you
I don't know
don't
anything
take it-
about Whole Foods, but if I was
I don't
recommending,
think you take it internally.
No.
I think it's just a spermicide.
you inject it. Yeah, up the canal. And so any little whatever wild woolly guys trying to like swim around and be like, what's up there? They go, oh, sorry. So yeah. So you definitely don't take it internally. And of course, the body with its own natural detox system, I mean, it's not harming anything in the body because I read the contraindications on PubMed all the time. So I don't know of any, but I also wouldn't say drink a glass, right? But use it topically
Because I
or...
think if you took it internally, that's probably not going to prevent.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was.
I mean, it would have to be
Yeah,
in contact with the.
That's
yeah.
a good question.
Right, you have the oil,
Yeah.
syringe, inject.
Yeah.
Same thing with lemon juice.
Because years ago I was looking for something besides birth control pills. And
Right.
I'd gone into Whole Foods to see if they had any ideas, and they're like, well, we sell this neem oil. And I don't really remember what it was, but it was something with neem oil they said would help. And, but I thought, I don't know if that's safe if you're not, if that would affect reproductive health or growth or fertility or whatnot. So
Yeah, I'm
I always
definitely
kind of
not
stay away
aware
from that.
of anything like that.
When it comes to the tinctures, I've heard that if you're giving them to kids, you can make them with glycerin. And I wonder if the tiny bit of alcohol in a dropper is really truly bad for kids, considering
Right.
medicine's been made for kids for, hundreds of years with alcohol. Does it really matter if it has alcohol?
I think it's more of the taste.
I
right?
love
You
that
can't do it.
question.
And glycerin, what is glycerin? I don't even know what it is.
Right.
Like,
So that's why I don't use glycerin. plus it doesn't last as long. Alcohol, there is more alcohol in a ripe banana than there is in a normal full dropper tincture dose. So
think that like a tiny bit like that would probably be harmful to anybody.
And they're
I don't
not
know.
taking
a kid isn't going to need more than like a drop. Also, here's another suggestion if you're uneasy, like ingesting alcohol, your belly button. Like, so whether it's the chaseberry for PMS or for menopause or hot flash, if you don't want to put it inside your body, which it's all going to get to the same place anyways, right? That's why we do it sublingually. Or, I mean, if you're like unconscious and having some like cardiac event and you happen to be here and not that, then you're probably going to get a dose of garlic up your ass. Yeah, I'm just saying, because those are... that's your bloodstream. You go directly to the bloodstream, whereas taking anything internally, a tea or what, like a Mullen tea, right? Now, this sounds weird to everybody, but it's factual. So Mullen was all respiratory medicine that people took before pharma, like about 100 years ago, but they took it by smoking it. Some of us still do. Why? Because it has properties that calm the bronchial, again, works on the parasympathetic nerve system, will kill fungus and crazy things like that in the lungs, but it opens your airways immediately and goes straight to your lung. Now, swallow a pill, how many processes does it have to go through before it finally gets to your lung?
With that being said, I've heard that tobacco, leaves are not bad for you like cigarettes. Is that
I
true?
love you're asking this. I was going to do a thing like the wormwood ivermectin comparison, but let me go pee. Okay? Yeah,
I
awesome.
wish I could, but I'm stuck and I...
Yeah,
Because
so
it's so
pardon
cute.
me, everybody. You can talk though. I don't even know if
I'm gonna go
anybody's looking
close
over
the
there.
screen door because I think it is slimy.
Is that what it is?
Yes,
It
it's
goes
so
see
more
more earlier.
ginger.
Me too.
Lemon.
And I didn't
So
with me
happy.
too.
You got out of singing.
Yeah.
I think it's.
This one is deeply content.
I think
if you wanna
try the baked oatmeal, I do want to try the baked oatmeal. I have not had anything to eat yet today.
Okay.
This is the first thing I had with the tea.
This orange cat looks just like...
Yeah.
Like yours? No, my mother-in-law's cat.
Bear, bear.
I'm so jealous of all your cats. They're all so
Where's your
precious.
restroom?
I wish I
Right
could.
there.
Is this one?
Yes. Oh, look at you, Joby. I've got all my little babies. I love you so much. Awesome questions. I can't wait to answer, but I'm going to wait for everyone. So maybe I'll see if there are questions in the thing here for our halftime. Hi, sorry I wasn't looking at this. This is something that wasn't really obviously for YouTube. I just wanted other people to have access to this. Okay, nightshade, Conoma, pesticide, geek, right now we're told. Men fart, women pass gas. Okay. Below boil, above steam. Oh, that's a good one. He said below boil, above steam. And even though that comment came in a long time ago, obviously that meant root cellar, root system versus aerial parts. I just freeze fresh ginger root, and whenever I need some, I take it out and grate or slice off a sliver. You can make ginger last for years that way and never waste any.
No, I just started making it.
Cool.
last
I
week.
blend comfrey in the blender with a bit of water and make cubes. Awesome when I broke my toe.
I know, I'm happy.
Can you list the herbs you just mentioned? I don't know, but I'll post pictures of everything.
I'll come back.
Turmeric, milk, yes.
Love you too.
Hello, we use herbal anti-worm combo that has wormwood in it. No worms in our sheep so far. Skin, the largest organ, absolutely. Diatomaceous earth for dogs. Yes, we use geranium oil as a bug spray. Perfect. Neem oil burns the leaves on my grapes. Yeah. So being a systemic, in regards to that, you really only have to spray like the trunk or the vines. You don't have to spray the leaves. Sometimes I do because I get super mad because there's a bunch of Japanese beetles on there and I just like go crazy. But yeah, don't put it directly on the leaves. Okay, so whatever. If you're here on YouTube, again, I'm just going to say it's a little group. I'm teaching a class. Some people couldn't make it. We wanted to preserve it. And then this will be like edited. I'm going to give it to my friend and they'll condense it to just the informational and question part. So anyone want to try some cold ginger snap pudding or peanut butter pudding? I have some in the fridge.
Do you do like so we have about 92 acres. Half of it's wooded.
Nice.
Some of it, well, more than half's wooded, but then we have some spots that our goats haven't gotten to yet, so it just kind of grows up wild and all over the place.
Hey, girl.
Could you help us like identify where our stuff is?
Yeah, whatever I know. Sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then one of my friends told me that we have like a black cherry tree in our yard, like those
Nice.
wild ones.
Oh.
But I don't know what to do with them.
Give me your fluffy butt. So actually, when it comes to the cherry blossoms themselves are actual medicine too.
Mhm.
So
You gotta catch it when you're blooming.
right, and people make, like I mentioned, redbud. You can make syrups with that, or just a tea, or again, skincare, or what? Aw, that's Marmalade. She survived bobcat fever and a
With your
car
remedies?
accident. Yeah, I used.
Also, we had a cat with bobcat fever and it did not live.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that one. Is it
They
another
get this
big one?
horrible fever with neurological, like 1 minute they're fine, and then we
Yeah.
found her in the
What causes
greenhouse. They said they get bit by a
So
tick that
yeah,
was on a
they
bobcat.
say
Yeah.
the Department of them says
Yes.
that a tick was on a bobcat and then decided to jump off and go find a house cat.
Yeah. Yeah, I find it very hard to believe. I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
It is something, but it's not
Right.
that. And anytime I see animals with those symptoms, it's always after a spray. That's all I'm going to say. Whatever. So there's something, I also think things are falling from the sky, not just particles of whatever, but there's fungal things. Like I've seen them in my yard. They just like plop, plop.
So how do you protect your plants from that? And your
Gratitude.
animals?
I give thanks. I just know. I
So
mean, sometimes I fall into like anger or, but I'm kind of getting over that.
I'll try it since you made it. I don't like the
Oh, wait, you want me to get you some pudding now? Anyone?
I would love pudding. Yeah, I would.
So there's a little peanut butter, and then there's a bunch of the ginger snap, and then, yeah, we'll get back to those questions.
She's got quite a few people watching.
Oh, does she really?
Well, that she was reading all those comments. Those were all comments.
Oh, okay.
And I'll stir it all up and just to make sure. Here's this one.
And that's
So
the peanut butter one?
did you have a check
Where do you want this?
for my feed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's
Oh, I
so-
can't forget to give you all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it in my truck bed.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out there. He
Okay.
has a bad road like you guys that has like not the creek like you, but he has two
Okay.
small tiny creeks.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you would have
Things like
enjoyed doing
that.
that.
Well,
So you might
I
get
try
like,
to hazard and trust my own creek every day, so. But I really appreciate you doing that. 'Cause- Yeah, because I got you.
Yeah, no, he's really nice.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah.
Just he moved here 3 years ago like us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is warm tea.
Yeah,
This is
so
the cool
if we get this working Yeah, I mean that would be really nice.
Yeah, he said he can even do like
And I don't know
bigger.
if you noticed, but
I can buy him
here
the
there's,
big
like,
bolts
my
from him because he
cinnamon,
buys those from it. He
also
showed me
has,
the
like,
he
cacao,
bought
my
massive
favorite,
ones.
anise,
Okay.
And he said he
tea,
used to make his own
ginger,
chicken
my
food,
ginger,
like
my
how I
lemon,
buy the individual
Yeah.
ones. Like, but my chickens do
all
better.
that. So,
They clearly didn't have things right.
when you're
And he
doing
switched
things
to
like that,
their
you should
no
have
soy,
a
no
video.
corn
Yeah.
one.
Things
And he's
that-
like, they're laying better. So he's like, I was clearly off on something.
Okay.
Which is wild to me because his are also free range. He's like, they should be able to find the thing they're missing.
Right.
But he said it's a little more expensive, but then he's
But
got
then you're
eggs
getting
the whole
more
time.
eggs, and especially,
have
have you seen the price of eggs?
Yeah, because we don't have any laying chickens. Ours got killed.
She might have some you
It's
can buy.
ridiculous. Oh, she has chickens now?
Yeah. She may have some eggs, and Kayleen has a bunch of eggs right now if you want.
Really?
Yeah,
we have literally
You
like
guys,
$4
I need a
a
peanut butter and a
dozen,
ginger
so.
snap.
Yeah, I just ordered
Did you
$4
guys want
for
some
organic.
puddings? I got peanut butter and ginger
Yeah.
snap, and everybody's dying.
What kind of sugar's in this?
The demerara.
I know, we
Always.
need,
Oh, I put
we
molasses.
need your recipes.
Yeah, I post some of them sometimes. It's just, did a cat do that or did a human?
On your personal, do you have personal Facebook that you post from?
Yeah, well, I just,
When you can?
I used to, like, for 20 years, and then I just kept getting erased, delete, and it just, I don't have time to, like,
So you just post,
re-upload the same things my whole
so you just post through
day.
Essence? So you just post on your website?
No, I don't even do that no more, because I keep getting hacked all the time. I go through phases, so I wasn't on Facebook for like a couple months, but then the last few weeks, I decided to test it out on water, but then, you know, vampires and parasites and so, like, I don't know, I just, like, I used to do all that for 15 years, and then I just got to, how many times, like 12 times deleted on YouTube? How much time do you have to re-upload the same 600 videos on a new channel, right? Like, I've been censored long before people even knew censorship was a thing. And that's why it was so easy for people to blame me, right? Because, well, you must be doing something wrong. But that's, when I used to tell people about vaccine or things or whatever, they didn't believe me. But now it's all household knowledge, and now I'm not crazy, but I'm also still not allowed to be seen. And that's okay. I don't want to be, trust me. I'm not looking for no following or like no.
So when you post the recipe for this, where is
Did
it
everybody
posted?
get enough? I posted the peanut butter pudding on Twitter the other day, and I could probably just give you a recipe right now if you want to write it down.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So the ginger snap, you know, like the recipe things, I'm not like perfect on, because I don't measure it, I just use my intuition. Make them up as I go. Oh, I'm
No, you're
sorry,
good,
I
you're
just took that out.
You're
I'm
good,
so
don't
sorry.
apologize.
getting more
I just don't want to use my spoon because I,
Yeah, that is really good. So is it basically like a
I'm glad it's
regular,
coming out.
Oh, this is delicious.
is it basically like a regular like vanilla pudding and you just add peanut butter and add your
Is
that kind of,
Yeah.
cause I'm kinda like that, I don't really follow recipes.
Right.
I mean, I do the first time, and then once I kind of know it, then I just.
I mean, once you know pudding,
Right.
or once you know bread, or once you know
Right.
stew,
You just
or
don't
it's all
yeah.
the same
It's like
principle,
sticks
so.
out in the
Yeah.
south.
Okay. Do you guys want more, or?
Oh no, I'm good.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
hide it
It's
from the
very, like,
cats, I don't want
artsy
them here all years then.
Thank you,
There's a
Christie.
paint job.
eclectic.
The eclectic.
You can totally have more.
All the stuff she does.
Oh, the fireplace.
The extra animals.
And
It's
the
just
stone, I
like
guess,
that.
it's
It's
just
a
for the
hippie
street
vibe.
and the scene.
It's
And yeah, if you want more,
so
you totally
West
can.
Coast.
So you know how to
Yeah.
distill essential oils?
Say what?
You know how to distill essential oils?
Actually, somebody does those for me, but
Wow.
do I know how? Yes.
Really?
Is it time
Consuming?
conducive for what I'm doing with my hundreds of products and building
Yeah.
a sustainable, no.
Yeah, okay.
So, but you
Interesting.
also, you could get a still and make it, or you could, there's like stovetop methods.
Like if you just
But
wanted
you
it
need
for yourself.
This much herb and this much
Yeah.
oil.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, we work together, right?
And I don't even have any, that whole apothecary, it's spread out to here, in there, the closets, the whole upstairs, it's,
Are you looking for a trash
I can't do anymore.
She said
One of these days though.
The plates go in the fireplace, she said.
Yeah, let's check this.
So let me give you mine.
Did you get a bunch of
Here, yeah, go ahead.
did you get a bunch of comments on your live? It seemed like you did.
Oh, I don't know, a few, it's still going,
But I mean
because I
that's
think we still have more questions or whatever that we were gonna get back to.
but that's pretty good. You've got something of a following, even if you don't want a big following.
Like,
Seems
why
like-
would I?
Seems like you've got people.
Let me tell you something. When I quit I quit because I felt people were like cult worshiping me in a way.
Because you're really good at what you do.
But first of all, I've always done everything for free. I thought
What are you doing, Gaga?
that people would give back, and then I spent 6 years of homelessness. Not only that, though. Only I could do it. Like, they had to be there to suck my energy all the time. And, oh, Christie, you're so blah, 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 blah. And it's like, bitch, I just spent all these years. Like, why are you still complaining about the same thing? Do it. That's why I quit radio. Like, I got tired of people like, and you know what? They're just vampires. Just trying to, like, suck your energy. Like, it's spiritual warfare. It's real. It's... And why am I going to repeat myself for 20 years, again, 12 YouTube channels, 4 Facebook pages, like all that stuff I did just to get deleted and erased when I was facing 56 years in prison? Where were they? Did they listen to my advice? No, because they're still sick. So why am I going to repeat myself to a bunch of takers that, sorry, social media people, if you're a real person, I'm sorry, but yeah, I did a video about it long ago. That's why I quit.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? I have a real life. I have real people. I have real community, which is what I want. If I'm arguing with my neighbors behind a computer screen, and again, redoing the same damn thing over and over, but I still want to help as many as I can, and that's why I prefer to not talk to one person at a time, and to, if we could videotape it, and then turn it into something that can help other people.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't want people following me around. Have you ever, like, I was stalked, I was chased out of 30, I mean, like, no, I do not want anybody worshipping me, or, you know, it's pathetic. I want a self-empowered, self-responsible community that knows that they have the power too. Don't treat me like, oh, I'm so special. Fuck off, man. I hate that shit. So, yeah, no. Okay.
Got you on a soapbox.
So, there were a few things I forgot that I think we were going to get back to, but I do remember yours. You were asking about tobacco, and yes, there is research about tobacco being effective against, we'll call it the chemtrail flu. That C word that we're probably not allowed to say, that I accidentally said a few times already. Also, and this information has been erased, but I own it because I have PDFs of the original information before it was erased, because I did a 2-hour show about the spiritual and medicinal benefits of tobacco. So, tobacco is not the enemy. It's the 4,000 chemicals they put in it. Tobacco, nicotine, the chemical got its name from Francis Jean Nicot, N-I-C-O-T, some French dude that's like the equivalent of the president. I don't remember. Maybe you know. But whatever, some kind of French history thing. And allegedly, when leaders were benevolent. So he would cure people's cancer with tobacco. Fast forward later, then they figure out what the chemical names are, and so that's how they named nicotine after them. So nicotine, the Walter Reed Army Medical Clinic boasted over 50 medicinal uses for tobacco. So I have a problem with media getting people afraid of an equivalent. Tobacco and cigarettes are not the same. Tobacco has been used by every culture, again, except for United States of America, whatever we are, the melting pot of stupidness. But it was all religions, even smoke purifies or kills bacteria or whatever. And again, if you want to kill, it's an insecticide, right? Side, death. If you want to kill parasites, bacteria, fungus, that's why it's used as even in the garden as a pest control. Even the deer won't eat it, right? So curing cancer, curing psoriasis, all these things are on the Walter Reed Army Medical site.
So deer don't eat tobacco?
Mm-mm. But in the beginning, they will munch it. So when they're little seedlings, they're just all over it. But when they become big, they won't touch it. Just like a wormwood or a mugwort or peppermint, right? They don't like toxic, bitter. Why am I calling it toxic? There's toxic elements in almost everything, right? Yeah. And I'm not all about that whole nightshades are poison thing, and I don't believe in any of that. Like pokeweed's medicine.
Heard that you can use tobacco leaves to warm your goats.
Mm-hmm. Make a tea.
You were the one that told me that.
And use it for your plants. Make a tea with tobacco leaves. Or mix your tobacco with wormwood. And getting back to the inhalation method to treat your lungs for, I think someone asked about pneumonia, right? If you smoked, put a little tobacco, wormwood, mugwort, sage, inhale, mullein, I can't remember if I said that. Even datura, they tell us it's toxic. You put that in there and take it, you put it in a pipe, take a hit, your cough is gone. Poof, gone. Gone, 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 gone. Not only that, it's working on the entire parasympathetic nerve system. It's relaxing you. It's calming the bronchioles. It's killing any type of fungus, bacteria, whatever that's in the lung causing infection. So tobacco is medicine. It's not, tobacco's medicine.
My children smoking a pipe.
Right.
So what else?
When I offer it to people, they're just like, oh, I don't smoke. That, and I have to like explain it. But then they finally take a hit and they're like, oh my God. The road crew people that were vaccinated and they never smoked a thing in their life. But they also had 1.5 years long pneumonia, in and out of the hospital, steroid, and it was, whatever. I shouldn't have even said the location, but whatever. I gave them mullein, echinacea, pain begone, and the sacred smoke blend. That was over 2 years ago. They've not been sick one day since. Not missed one day of work. Sleep, breathe, and they're like, if this wouldn't have happened to me, I wouldn't have believed it. But they sent me an email, and they're like, just like you said, the first hit was an expectorant and made me cough it all out. The second hit was calming, and that was it. I could sleep all weekend. That's the thing with real medicine and herbs or whatever. If you have to take something every day, it don't work, right? Because if it does work, you're only going to need it a little bit. You get your body doing what it's supposed to do, right? Herbalists, they drive me nuts. They are no different than pharmacists and doctors these days. And take this and take that. And that's why I design my products the way I do. And this isn't a sales pitch. I'm just saying I'm unique because I was a nutrition major and used to go to like GNC, and I would buy like $600 in supplements a month because one's for your heart, One's for your liver, one's for your kidney, one's for your metabolism, one's for your, right? So all of that, antifungal, antiviral, and all goes in every single thing. So different degrees, and it might just smell like delicious, beautiful skincare until you realize that your skin cancer is gone in 3 days, or your shingles, or whatever. I just thought it smelled good. So
I have one that has chronic asthma, and it's because he was a preemie, like his lungs didn't develop. Is there anything that I can do other than what he's?
Maybe. So what is he doing?
He's on the daily. Oh, I can't think of the name of it.
Albuterol,
that's
prednisone.
No, it's I'll have to think of what it's called. But he does do albuterol, like
It's a maintenance
emergencies.
inhaler.
but
Was
it's
a
a
primatine
maintenance-
mist from like the
It's a maintenance.
store?
It's a maintenance everyday inhaler.
Yeah.
not just
Oh,
a
that's one of the
stimulant.
steroids,
Yeah.
right? Oh, yeah. So
But I mean, it's the only.
my
that's ever
35 years
yeah.
of illness started exactly like that. I was a kid. I got diagnosed with asthma. They gave me these inhalers, then these pills, then the steroids, and then the steroids caused whatever depression. Then they gave me a depression pill that caused diabetes, and then they gave me so all of my stuff started with the asthma. How I cured it: H2O2, peppermint mullein. Basically,
say?
almost that's almost all.
Hydrogen
So,
peroxide, H2O.
Have you heard of H2O2?
She just said hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So food grade. So you can get that at the health food store. It's a 35%. So they usually, any health food store that carries it, it's going to be kept in the refrigerated section. In fact, I'll go get the bottle and show you what it looks like.
And you said mullein.
Well, it's
Mullein,
H2O2,
smoked
it's
mullein.
food
I don't know if you
grade,
want to
right?
send this
And
smoke.
she
You could drink it
said
as a tea.
peppermint and mullein.
What if we put it,
It
like
just
in a
takes
vaporizer?
longer.
Nebulizer.
If you're gonna
A
do that, you
diffuser.
got mint, you got eucalyptus, anything with menthol, but also
Well, I mean, we had that stuff going all the time. though.
oh, and it's not helping.
mullein. What else did she say?
Peppermint.
Oh yeah, we have peppermint going all the time.
Yeah, so if what you're
And a
doing this is
diffuser.
helping, then I would just probably try another way. This is what the 35% H2O2 looks like. And I'm pretty sure this came from the health food store. It's 35%, it's flammable, it's explosive, it will burn
You'll
you.
like that.
Do not spill it on you. All I really do, there's even books written about how to take this, but really, capful, gallon of distilled water. Pour that in your glass and drink it.
Cap full.
Like, you don't have to
with a gallon
count
water.
the drops in each little glass every day, but yeah, go to whatever the Nature's Sunshine or Wonders or
Nature Wonder.
yep, 35% H2O2.
Okay.
So
What about-
35%, the store-bought kind is 3%, right? And that's filled with stabilizers. Do not take that internally. Mhm.
Cap full into water. Gallon water.
Capful per
Scary.
gallon, and the reason I say distilled water is because it is an explosive, right?
Mhm.
And like even fresh spring water has organic or whatever kind of element. So we don't know what's in the, so just for safety, use distilled water, stick it in the water and make that half the water you drink all day. Go a step further, within each glass or whatever, bottle or whatever, put 1 drop of peppermint essential oil and give that a shot.
And then
For the mullein, since it's a kid, probably you don't want to be like, here, smoke this. But here's the thing. It's not addictive. It's not going to get you high, and it's not going to make you want to smoke, right? It's medicine.
I just always
So-
think
is
if
there
it's-
another way or just that?
Drink the tea.
Drink a tea.
Yeah, just know that, like, if he's having an asthma attack, I would take a hit of mullein. But I'm, now, when I was your age and a mother, that would have been the craziest thing I ever heard, okay? So, right, just do what your medical provider says to do. In the meantime, include mullein tea with or even thyme or rosemary. Include that in their daily diet. And I would guess the need for the daily inhaler is just going to go away on its own. Don't get me started on all of the side effects of steroids.
Sure. No, I mean, he's 13 years old. We've been. I mean, it's.
How long has it been?
13 years.
Since birth. Okay, so try that. And also, something else that will help. Do you drink like milk or dairy or?
Yeah, I mean, not raw milk, but.
Okay. So if you're going to drink milk, make it
I'm
raw.
not above raw milk.
Any milk from the store.
Yeah.
Like some people can cure their asthma just by eliminating dairy. And I know, like, if I eat a store-bought dairy, or sometimes I want an ice cream or whatever, I just know it's part of the program that I'm going to be congested and coughing and probably on the toilet the whole next day. So if you switch to raw milk, again, it's going to help the detoxification, the whole system together, right? Because you got all the probiotics that are helping the gut bacteria that's going to allow his body to fight whatever. Also, I mean, so dairy is a big thing with asthma. Also, should I talk about some of the emotional or mental or spiritual causes of some of these things?
Of asthma?
Like anxiety?
Anything.
Before you move on to that, you said something about skin cancer, though. Have you dealt with that before?
All the time.
My sister it runs in my family, and they all get skin cancer, and they have had their faces all cut up getting it out, and my sister's too scared to do that.
MyTerescence.net and look at the testimonials, and you'll see all the pictures of the people being treated with a doctor, and it doesn't go away for years and years, and then they try me, and then it's poof,
So you
gone
have a
magically.
cream or something? What's your cream called?
Heavenly Heal All. Well, technically the Sweet Days Ease, 3 words, is what I designed specifically for that. It's a roller. Put it on for shingles. Heavenly Heal All is the cream. When I designed a Heavenly Heal All, it has a lot of the same ingredients as the Sweet Daisies, but not even close. The Sweet Daisies has all of the rarest, most expensive oils in the world, like Magnol or whatever. Heavenly Heal All has some of them, but one of my old high school friends, I didn't even know, was using a CDC employee. She had a skin cancer thing, and like I knew she was using the Pain Be Gone for a bunch of stuff, but I didn't know that she had skin cancer. But one day she just decided to maybe this will help, like make it feel better because it was all dry after whatever, some kind of doctor stupid treatment. And again, coming back. Then she put it on there, and it was like gone in 2 days.
Bloodroot?
Mm-hmm.
Do you use that?
I don't. I would if it grew, but there's no need because I already have things proven effective. Yeah, Sweet Days Ease.
Okay.
It's
And you
3
probably have
words.
some.
Huh?
You have some she could buy.
You have some?
I do. Oh, yeah. You can. Oh, well, let me tell you then. If you did want to buy, it's not just for skin cancer and shingles. I have it in my pocket when I go outside the home for anxiety or stress. It is the most calming, at least for me, and everybody who's been using it for the past 18-ish, 17 years.
Okay. And how long would she have to put it on? Like every day, once a day for, depends? Okay.
I don't know how bad it is, but some people say it's gone in 3 days. Some people say a week or 2. There's pictures on the site. People add their testimony. There's reviews under the product you can read, but then there's also a page of testimonials and pictures, and they probably have different, but yeah, 3 days, 2 weeks. I don't know how bad it is or this and that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question, and you may answer it with the spiritual thing, but if I have someone that says they're allergic to a specific oil, like an essential oil or a natural, like you said cedar, like if there's somebody that's allergic to cedar, like what is it because they're not getting like a pure form of it, or?
That's a good question.
Well, my husband can touch a cedar tree and
Well,
break
yeah.
out.
Well, and even
Wow,
if there's
yeah.
like cedar in, like if somebody's burning cedar,
Yeah.
like I have one of my kids will get
Yeah.
hives.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
So-
done. And he's
So I
got the
didn't know,
asthma.
like what.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up with asthma as well. The unfortunate proven truth is asthma is vaccine damage, just like diabetes, just like autoimmune, just like all these other things we're taught are separate things. And I explain that in some of the articles I shared with you on the site and that you guys could read at any time. So allergies really mean lower immune system. So, but we're also lied to, right? Most people think they have hay fever, right?
Mhm.
They get us to blame the hay. It's not the hay. And it's not even the ragweed or the goldenrod. It's the stuff they put in it, then they cut it, and then get it all stuff in the air.
Yeah.
Right. So allergies of cedar, I am not really sure, but what I do know is the original vaccines, based on principles of homeopathy, is the poison is the cure.
Yeah.
So I'd have to know more about your son to provide a better,
Mhm.
more complete, individualized answer, right? And I don't
Sure.
know who I'm talking to here or anything, but
Sure.
so I don't know like why off the bat somebody would be allergic to cedar, but I also know that when I was taking all the pills and all of the shots and going and getting my allergy shots, 2 shots twice a week and all those stupid pricks, there was like 120, I think. And I was allegedly allergic to like 104 of
Yeah.
them. Like the rye, like I was allergic to everything.
Mhm.
The truth was I had a lowered immune system.
Okay.
So
So with the detoxing, like with the liver and stuff, will that help the immune system?
right, but I also want to point out while I focused most of the talk about liver, because liver is the organ that most people refer to when they use the word detox.
Sure.
All of these are, so the problem with like most health regimes and such is that it's too focused and narrow-minded and looking at like one organ or one system, or like carnivore is the only way to eat because there's oxalic acids and whatever, and they're gonna kill me, right? They have people thinking plants are gonna kill them, and then they got other people thinking meats are gonna kill them, and all of that, right? So if you're narrowed on like one thing, you gotta widen your view because it is a perfectly working system. So many people don't. You could focus on your liver, and sure, if you keep your liver healthy, you'll probably never get cancer, you'll probably never have any disease, and the rest of everything is going to work properly.
Well, but
So-
the stuff that you do for your liver is going to help everything else.
Exactly. Just like all these pages of herbs here. They don't just say, oh, hey, I'm just going to go help the liver. No, because if it's a blood purifier, then that also helps the kidneys. That also helps the
Immune
heart.
system.
That also, exactly.
'Cause that
So-
kind of answers my question, because I was thinking about the gastrointestinal, because
Right.
if you're not eliminating properly, then where do you start?
Right. Dandelion tea in your yard.
All right.
So like immunity, like still do the elderberry and.
Yes, and I am so sorry I have to pee again. I drank a bunch of that.
You're
and
good.
I'll be right back. But yeah, elderberry.
And then you'll tell us how to make the dandelion tea. Like, what do you do?
Does she use the root?
And I
or the
do
flower?
Well,
have
it's
little
just-
videos,
You
reminders,
boil
stuff
the
like
water.
Is it the root or the flower that she
You
uses?
can do
Yeah.
either. So if you're, so I think the root is stronger. So if you use the
Ooh.
root, then you do it the same as the ginger. Because she already told
You
us how to
boil with
make a
it,
root
yes.
tea when she told us the ginger, right?
Yeah.
And then if it's the leaves, then it's the same as
So you
peppermint.
boil the root.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then you only pour hot water on
the leaves.
area
Yeah.
that hurts.
that's what she was saying. And I think that's the same for flowers too.
I think so.
We use some
Any
flowers.
of the aerial leaves,
Yes.
flower, yeah, above ground.
We're all
stuff.
gonna be protecting our weeds now.
Yes, eat the weeds.
We've never killed them. Never. We just,
Good.
run them over to keep our lawn down.
Right. Yeah, so I just harvest my weeds as like I'm harvesting my tomatoes, right? And that's what
Put
the
'em in a
whole
little flower
apothecary,
basket.
yeah, is full of. And then I just put it in different methods so that I can make any type of medicine to address any situation at any time. And that's kind of, yeah.
She had a question for you.
Yeah, I had a question. My husband inhaled some very fine ginger, and he ended up with severe COPD, asthma, and RADS.
Wow.
And
This was at a factory.
yeah, it was at work, and he doesn't have 100% capacity in his lungs anymore, and the only way he can open it up is he drinks Mountain Dew.
Ooh.
And he does that once a day. Or if it's really hard for him to breathe, because it's like something's just on it, heavy on his chest.
Right.
And he doesn't, the butyrol hurts his lungs. So he doesn't even do that. I had to
Good.
go and do a test. And he hasn't done that for years.
But I wish
But,
it hurt me before I took it for
Yeah.
all those years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to be
Yeah.
How do you
insensitive.
get the ginger out of your lungs?
Yeah, so what kind of factory was he working in?
It
An
was
enzyme in
yeah.
Branson.
He was doing
They're putting it in
tablets. And well, he wasn't doing it. It was in
Oh,
another room, and the people that owned the factory didn't take precautions. They basically didn't care about their employees that well. And he just walked by the room, and some of it came into the hallway, even though the doors were shut, and he got a big dose.
It's inhaled like a dust cloud.
He had to go straight to the hospital.
How long ago was that?
This was in I believe it was 2018.
Dang.
5 years.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know anything about your husband, his diet, his medical history, his medication or lack thereof. So it's hard to like, without knowing that specific information, give safe advice. But I would say eliminate as many toxins as possible and focus on all this stuff on these sheets today, on the specifically the liver one, and include that in your diet any way possible. Plus, you could eat all this stuff too. I think you wanted to talk about methods of preparation.
Yeah.
So I basically suggest the teas for people who hate vegetables, right? Or juicing, right? Because then you don't have to taste it. Like if you pick like an adult dandelion leaf and it's your first time, like, hey, I want to be a wild forager when I grow up. And then you make this pretty basket, but then you put it in your mouth and you're like, ew, that is not delicious. I want my iceberg lettuce and right? So when you start working with herbs like that, and specifically like bitter herbs or whatever, like dandelion, then you just want to add them sparingly. Like if you're making a salad, like don't make the whole thing henbit and dandelion. Because it's going to be gross. Let's face it, right? So introduce it slowly, and a good way to introduce it slowly is with a tea. And again, I like ginger lemon because it works on so many things, and it just tastes delicious. The dandelion as a tea doesn't have a whole lot of flavor, so you mix the dandelion, just do dandelion ginger. Or dandelion, a little bit of mint and ginger for the flavor. Or if you don't add mint, add some redbud flowers. Oh my God, they are so delicious. And then do what you have to do to drink it, right? Like, oh, I hate tea. Well, number one, it's not tea. And you don't have all the tannins and all the crap in the fake radiated stuff in the store. Anyways, it's basically dirty herb water. It's dirty brown water. It's weeds and water. So if you need honey and lemon to make it taste delicious, add it. If you need sugar, who cares, man? You're getting the medicine down. Do what you need to do to get it down. With that being said, you can again, I mentioned salads, but you could sneak it in all your foods. Let's say you eat burgers every day. I ain't knocking it. Add dandelions instead of lettuce. Or evening primrose leaves, which taste like nothing but self-heal. Like, start introducing them little at a time like that, and then see what happens. And obviously, no, I'm not trying to be your mom or anything, but Mountain Dew is
Yeah, I know.
definitely not the healthiest choice. So, given that he likes Mountain Dew, I think maybe there's like a citrus type kind of fake flavor in there, right? So maybe he likes citrus. So that's where you want to think like lemon, or, you know, make your ginger and squeeze a bunch of lemons, or lemon balm, or lemongrass, or just try to think of things that would make it taste good for him so it won't be terrible.
Yeah, with him, it's not the taste. The Mountain Dew opens up his lungs.
Right.
The-
So
There's
mint.
something
Is
in
it the
What's
caffeine?
Mint-
in it?
Yeah, it's the
The
caffeine
caffeine.
that
Oh.
opens up the lungs.
I wonder if that would, if
Put some
cayenne
coffee.
would help with that.
Right. So again, back to ginger, lemon, mint, garlic, any type of menthol. We have mountain mint out there with like super high contents of that. Hang on, there was something I know I missed. Did I say garlic?
No.
Okay, garlic. Eat a clove of garlic a day. Add peppers, cayennes, or whatever. If you happen to have a tincture, cool, do it like that. But eat chips and salsa.
So
If you
put a lot
gotta
of
get
garlic
your
in
medicine
food,
in,
even though you
right?
cook it, it doesn't.
Oh,
it doesn't do
absolutely.
anything to the garlic properties.
And
right?
every single ingredient in salsa is medicine.
Mm.
So if
I love
he's
salsa.
a chip and salsa person, go get a, or, you know, put it in a burrito, or do whatever you have to
Yeah.
do to
Yeah,
get
the
him to
slather
eat
and
it.
everything.
And so then you got the tomatoes, you got the peppers, you got the garlic, you know, all of that. It's cilantro, heavy metal detox, again,
we
getting back
eat-
to the
we eat
liver.
all that. He likes
No
vegetables and stuff.
Okay.
So I don't fight with him on
And
that.
so we did
So you
that,
make him some yummy
and
salsa.
It was amazing.
I don't make
found,
salsa, but he
a
doesn't
salsa
even
that
eat
didn't have any
salsa.
added
But he-
But he
stuff
likes
in it, so
tomatoes.
that I can
put it on my
He'll eat
rice.
garlic. In fact, we had garlic.
I
on
like
the
brown
side.
rice.
Like homemade salsa
Oh,
on your
yeah.
eggs, or I don't know, anything. But that's a good way to eat your medicine and,
And you could
help
sneak-
strengthen.
Could you sneak the dandelion into it and like?
Why not?
I mean, 'cause that's what I'm
Absolutely.
thinking with
Well,
the kids.
uh,
I'm gonna be
after
really
watching
sneaky.
Yeah.
after watching one of her videos, I went out to my yard and picked a bunch of weeds and chopped them up and put them in the taco meat.
Nice. Was it? They didn't even notice.
I
Nice.
just
Like
like
as you were cooking it or after you cooked it?
While I was cooking it. With
So
the
it didn't
onions
cook
and
out the.
peppers
It doesn't
and
cook out
everything.
all the properties though. Like it's still good or
Better than
I mean,
maybe?
better than nothing.
If you're gonna make a soup or a stew, you'd add it at the end, just like you would
Yeah.
with the kale.
yeah.
So
or
after
nettles.
you have it cooked, then you could stir
Yeah,
it in.
I did put it in at the end.
Okay,
Now that you
okay,
say
okay.
that,
Okay.
like
You-
the
could
same
sneak
way
them in, like,
sometimes if I'll add
smoothies.
kale, it's same as like
Yeah.
putting kale in at the end or spinach at the end.
Or
If you-
eggs
if you
or
bake kale,
fritters,
does that
you
kill the
can,
properties?
you know, same thing. Give it a. You're not gonna kill all of it, and it's just like the juice. I used to be a food Nazi, so I could say this, but like some of the hardcore like raw food is juicer people, they're like, no, you have to juice it every single day. It's fresh, and you can't use a centrifugal juicer because it's cooking it and it's completely destroyed. But again, how did I get here? By juicing a gallon or gallon and a half at a time and leaving it in my refrigerator all
what I
week,
do.
so I had time
Because
to
it's
drink
so-
it and still get to work on
It
time.
takes up so much time.
Yeah, so I mean,
Messy.
yeah, some of it will deteriorate. Add more. Right?
Well, it's
Nettles.
at least a
Nettles
start.
will be super
Yeah.
strengthening for him, right? And that's also on the list. But anything like nettle, thistle, just think like power. They're just, so I would do that and then soothe it with the other stuff if you can. Even if, so I had one dude, and this was actually in Branson, like, what year are we in? Yeah, so this would have been like 15 years ago. And he was a little jacked up health-wise, and she, you know, whatever, all sorts of stuff. So all I did, because I knew he wasn't going to go from his like beer and burger every single day to like, yeah. And then soda all day, like soda during the day to beer at night. And there's no way somebody's going to go from that to this, right? There's like a process. So you want to just introduce things like baby steps. And I asked for him, I said, just replace one of your sodas with this tea. So he did. When his neuropathy and shakes went away, he dropped all soda. It wasn't, he didn't even have to like fight it. It was just natural because he's like, oh my God, I feel so much better now. What was in that tea?
Yeah.
I call it almost everything tea on my site, but basically a lot of the herbs here, clover, dandelion, nettles, chickweed, yellow dock, I think I put red buds in my new version, but any combination you pick of any of these, you know, start with what you have on hand or what you have in your yard, and that's, just do that. Baby steps, little bit at a time, and one day you're going to wake up, or he's going to wake up, and he's going to be like, oh my God, it's all gone, where'd it go? I just want to make very clear that when I set out on my gonna heal myself journey, it was not supposed to look like this, okay? I did not even know that this was possible. I just thought, well, best case scenario, you know, I could at least do my own grocery shopping. I could wipe my own ass. I could cook my own food. So I'm not like a dependent on completely on somebody. That was my idea of healing, just being able to take care of my basic necessities. But invariably, what happens once you start feeling better and then realizing how we've been snowed in so many areas, you have that joy that, oh my God, it's possible. And then a little bit of anger, like, who's poisoning my stuff and why? Oh, this is war. Well, how do you win a war? Not by voting, but by cutting off the funding, right? The only reason they produce poison is because we keep paying for it. So stop and stop putting it in your body. And then again, no need for detox, no such thing as a flu, no such thing as cancer, no, right? Like some people want us to believe that if you'll say, well, why is there more disease today? Oh, well, we have better science and testing. No. It's the food. It goes back. The spray, so again, it's not hay fever, right? God, we're lied to about all of these things and medicines that are good, right? Like or pokeweed, right? Pokeweed cures sepsis. Most people, if you're septic in a hospital, you're going to die, right?
Wow.
There's no need for any of that.
Does pokeweed grow around here?
Oh, yeah.
It's all over the place.
I
I'm
have
sure
it.
you have it in your yard.
I'm sure I've
Is
seen
it
it.
what
I just
they-
don't know what it is.
Is that what in
Will it
Oklahoma
come
they call
back?
it poke
Oh, yeah.
Because
I
it
am
does-
sure.
Is it that
When
weed
I
that
was
grows
clearing
up,
some
and if you
area
break it,
that-
it's all
There's a whole
milky?
big tree,
Um,
but
it
I'm
Yeah.
afraid to touch it.
like,
You know?
Right.
What do you do with it?
at the end.
So,
Oh.
At the
this
end.
is...
So it'll have
And they
it's
tell you
white
it's
flowers
poisonous.
and it
Sorry.
turns into purple berries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
So she
They're
asked
like,
how to
it's
use it.
dangerous.
And
Yeah.
I just
because
want to make
there's-
clear this is not medical advice. Check with your doctor, nurse, whatever y'all do, right? Some people, a lot of the old timers and stuff, eat one berry a day. And at the end of the season, they just collect a bunch and stick them in the freezer. They swear that it cured their diabetes or their blood pressure, their heart. So that's what they say. I personally, I have definitely eaten a berry here and there. I've never gotten hurt from it. And I have also taken the tincture of the root.
Okay.
So, which I always have on hand. And
For what?
this is the doctor's office. So
Or like
I mean, I've had people come to me on their deathbed and like toxic and
Because
like,
it's a super strong one.
oh yeah, but if you're dying of sepsis,
Yeah.
like what's a couple drops of pokeweed gonna
Right.
do? Like you can die in a hospital and with MRSA and everything else, or you can give a weed a chance.
Yeah.
What's the difference, right? So yeah, pokeweed, the root. If you're using roots, dandelion roots, yellow dock roots, whatever, wait till fall because when it's blooming, then the nutrients and stuff are up here. And then when it dies back in the fall, then they all get stored in the root cellar.
So what
The
about
root.
right now?
Yeah, right now, well, first of all, I'll just say if you need something, take it, right? And, like,
Yeah. Right.
if you're, have a respiratory virus or illness and all you have is a mullein root out there, go get it. But also, being February, it's kind of in between phase. In a yard like this where I've propagated a bunch of weeds, if y'all needed a root right now, I'd be like, take it. And especially if it hasn't come forth. But once it does start breaking above the surface, then just know there'll be a little less nutrients here, but you make up for it here, right? That's when I harvest it. So I spend all of March and April harvesting only dandelion flower. And then in the summer or late summer, I harvest the leaves. And in the fall, I harvest the roots. And then they all get put together for a complete medicine. Yeah, so different times of the year for different things. And I also didn't put plantain in the list. There's just so many I didn't add on the list that are widely available right here in our yards.
Have to get together again.
I guess so.
Because I think it's already like 4:15
Yes.
and I'm gonna need to get going.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
But
Did I answer everybody's questions? Or if anybody else has time, if you want to go outside, if you don't know what these herbs are, I can point them out.
Okay.
Or I don't care. I can go to bed too. Whatever.
I wish I could stay, but I've been gone way too much this week. My daughter's coming over tomorrow, so I have to go home and clean.
Right. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So all of this is
but
on your
it's
website
never
too.
it's
Yeah.
never long enough when I come visit Christie. It's never long enough.
Aw. Well, we'll do this more often and we'll just like kind of revamp the whole free school thing. And, I can commit to, I don't know, once summer comes, I'm going to cry and be like,
Well, we can play
what did I
like-
say? But I don't see why I can't, like, you, since you're organizing, just pick a topic or whatever, and then I'll just talk a bunch of shit and see what comes out, and hopefully help somebody or not. And if you have a skill or something you want to teach, we'll just fill out a calendar and then revive free school.
I may be interested in some products.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's all on your. Do you ship too?
I
She
do.
has it here.
Well, I'm thinking for my sister
Oh, yeah.
in Utah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I ship everywhere, like
Okay.
including Australia and Spain and Canada and France and UK, and
That's good to know.
it sucks though because it's super expensive and then they charge them.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like you already paid for it. I don't charge taxes,
Oh, I
but
know.
the state doesn't know that, right? UK
Yeah.
they don't know that I didn't, but then they're like, oh, what's the value of this box? And then they make them pay before they even give it to them.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
It's ridiculous. So
Yeah,
I don't know. YouTube, if you're there, thank you so much. Again, this wasn't supposed to be a YouTube thing. This is just here so that we can share it with the people that didn't get to make it. And then we'll like download this and clean it up some ways so it's more user-friendly listening to a video instead of just a bunch of bollocks. It looks like it's been over 2.5 hours. I spent a lot of that time talking shit or in the bathroom or whatever. But yeah, we'll whatever. Thanks and whatever. Cool. I hope yeah, we'll do this again. Bye. I don't even know how to turn it off. What do I do? I guess hit the X.
Yeah, probably.
Are you sure you want? Yes. Okay, found it.